and welcome back to the epic 11th, because I like to go one step beyond. I'm the nostalgia best guy ever. Welcome to Internet Genius, everybody. All right, we made it. Can you believe it? We're here to talk about some epic stuff once again and raise everyone's IQs an appropriate amount for what you are paying to us in our Patreon, which hopefully is a lot. We are joined today by, if you can believe it, NoNeedBruh himself. Welcome back, buddy.
I'm DeltaCOOMing!
There are some Delta type things I'm happening I am not permitted to say are happening on this episode, but one day, when they've legalized being funny, I'll make all my little comments again. And we're joined again by Cybershell. There he is, folks.
I'm back. You said earlier, like, oh, I'm going to have you on this podcast more than your own podcast. Like, you're literally on pace to have done that in, like, a couple months from now at this rate.
Months. Well, we should hit it. Dude, me and Noni may have been like, dude, it's going to be so freaking funny when we do that.
It literally is on track to happen.
The power's on you. You've got all the power in the world to make that fate not come to pass.
I know. I have no one to blame but myself. I will say this is good that like the internet. I like the premise of the Internet Genius Patreon is like every dollar you donate, that your IQ goes up by 1 point.
Goes up
it's equal. It's a guarantee, by the way. This is a legal guarantee.
However, it's a guarantee as long as you pay. If you stop paying, your IQ drops back that many points,
and it goes lower.
In the opposite direction. So be careful, guys.
It's like a power enhancing like drug or whatever, but it's more like one of those things you give a monster in Monster Rancher. It's not bad. It's like you want to give it for the IQ bonuses, so it's good to donate.
It's like taking teat, like taking, human growth hormone. It goes well for a while, but just, you got to keep taking, you got to keep upping the dose. Those IQ points slip away.
Okay, and even if you're just a dullard who doesn't want to fucking pay any money, if you just listen to the show for free, it's still like mental exercise. It makes you smarter.
And here's the thing, it's just like any good drug.
Yeah.
The buffs are permanent, but the debuffs you get are also permanent.
Okay, this is true. Everyone's always like, drugs are bad. The only thing, drugs are only bad when you stop taking them. So just never stop taking them.
This. That's absolutely true of Internet Genius. I will say you do get a passive buff as you're listening to the show, but it quickly falls off. It times out quickly after the episode stops. Now, the way to keep it going all the time is to be paying at patreon.com/internetgenius.
Right.
That keeps the buff active 24/7 until you stop. So there you go.
If you ever stop paying, the IQ minus will never leave you, but the IQ buff will. It is what it is. This is capitalism,
Up
baby.
with those antis, folks.
Paying
that's the meme.
definitely goes up. I would say if you can't afford to pay, then the closest you can get is just put like the playlist on and be listening to it 24/7 on loop, including when you're asleep.
That's definitely the smart move. Yeah. Now you could definitely do that. Ooh, that sweet ad revenue. I can feel it filing in right now. So hey, we'll get started here, everybody. A quick damn you, Ben, to the odious Ben Cope, the fake Internet Genius. He's the liquid Internet Genius. We are the solidest, the real-based and true Internet Geniuses. Cyber, you weren't here last week, but
no, it's okay. I know.
The grand
He's
reveal
at Internet Genius.
was
I listened. I had to hear the pony
he did.
talk.
Great. Yeah, there you go. The world now knows.
And
Our
hopefully
ultimate
no one
enemy is
actually
out there.
harassed him and became the Joker and was like trying to contact
Just trying
him.
to watch the world burn. For the love of God, do not interact with this man in any way.
I think you'll be
guys.
safe because this is the Internet Genius podcast. If you're listening to the show, you are an Internet Genius and you understand what's fucking funny and what's not funny. Okay.
Now, the real people we need to fuck with are the people over at Nebula, our fellow Illuminati rivals out there. The Nebula geniuses. I think Alt-Shift X is in there. I think, Lindsay Ellis. Well, these are our true nemesis that we will defeat in time.
If it's just we have a site, we post videos, it's like a site, whatever, that's fine. But they have to frame this it's like a co-op. This is my streaming site, and we all own it or some shit. I'm like, guys, this is a fucking scam.
As better than everyone.
This is a fucking scam.
Only a fool would do that. We are the true gods. We are the rightful kings of IQ on this planet. Go to Internet Genius. Patreon.com. You know what it is. Money, IQ. That's what's happening. There you go. We're all on the same.
Someday
page
you'll
here.
have your own shadowy cabal of video content producers making content for you on your own website. Some weird website that nobody's ever heard of.
We're working on that at this very moment here. We're making it happen.
For now, you have to fund it through Patreon, but someday you'll be able to fund it through your own very own shady website.
Well, we've got we've got Twig, the United Internet Genius Conference. That is is a temporary gathering of the geniuses. So maybe there'll be more of those, and we'll cook some things up. We were just discussing briefly the lore of like what this room that we're in right now. This is relevant to the subject matter we'll get into in a moment here, but like, so we've got our little like avatars floating on the chairs here, but like T-Bap was physically, God, big thank you to Keg Standard and Phantom Horn who carried the show last week while I was away. And Noni did a fine job too. Thank you, Noni. Man, that Keg guy, what a hoot that guy is. Phantom, that guy's crazy, man. Ben Saint continues to be banned from the show forever, as we all know. But love Phantom, love Keg, great pony boys, had a great time. And, so the lore here, the lore. So Noni here, as we all know, phones in from the center of the earth or whatever, a distant secret laboratory in an unmarked grave somewhere. I guess we're not physically present, and so I was just thinking, you guys can let me know if you agree with this at home and on the show here, that this is like the Sealy gathering from Evangelion, where, Gendo's sitting at the table, but all the other guys are like the obelisks with like the numbers. They're like the different Illuminati members or whatever. I think it's basically that. We're kind of like obelisks here.
Yeah, if you thought that this was just like floating avatars in some sort of non-diegetic state, no, these are physical objects that exist as in obelisk
just like
form.
in the Sealy gathering, yeah.
Exactly.
These are real 2001: A Space Odyssey-esque obelisks present. We each have our dedicated one.
I mean, look at the background. It's in the studio, okay? I mean, it wouldn't make any sense if this was just like some sort of PNG floating in the air.
You literally hear us, moving the chairs that our obelisk floats upon.
No, there is stone scraping as the chairs rise into their position of prominence on their plinths, like the gathering of nothing, or shit. Is it the Garden of Assemblage? Shit, whatever the room, where nothing gathers. The Kingdom Hearts 2 room where the organization meets. Oh my god, I can't believe I forget the name of that room.
You know what? Actually, fuck this studio. Can we get one of those big rooms with like all the big chairs? I want a big chair.
I feel like if you zoomed out on this room or like turned the camera around, you would see that this room is actually quite similar to that one.
Oh, good. Thank God.
Let me just see. I just need to know the room where they meet. Oh my god, what's it called? In the castle at Nether was. What's the name of this is driving me crazy. Okay, look, I have to find this. If this is cringe, cut it out. But I have to find the name.
You don't remember every single plot detail of every single room in Kingdom Hearts.
I found it's called Where Nothing Gathers. Where Nothing. I knew it was something like that. Okay, all right.
That's not a name.
I'm so sorry.
That's not a name. That's a sentence.
I'm so ashamed I didn't know that off the top of my head. But we figured it out. Okay, we figured it out. All right, so that's what's happening. And again, we're inside the room. On the outside of the building, it's black bricks where there's a spray-painted crown, Kamina crown. That's the lore of the thumbnail or the icon of the channel. Okay, and guys, but you know what would be truly crazy? You know what would be really crazy? If someone made like a dark fountain in the center of this room, and everything in the background came to life, and it was like animated and like because we've got a lot of imagine what damage. What's the secret boss would be our little VTuber on the top left over there. Henya the genius, right? It'd be something possessed by a ghost or something. It'd be crazy if that kind of thing happened. Draw art of this and submit it to internetgeniussubmissions@gmail.com.
Dude, we could be friends with all the little trophies and stuff, and then I guess
trophy-based enemies everywhere for sure.
Would he who copes the poster become like a representation of him, and then it would be like twisted reflection.
I think he would step out of the page. Obviously, the fact that he's like a wanted poster would be relevant in some way, but he who copes would come to life and be like the final boss for sure of this area.
Guys, the chapter writes itself. We need to contact Toby Fox.
Chapter 6.
And tell him,
we're working
cancel
on it right
your plans for chapter. We've got. Have you ever heard of this podcast? Okay, I think it would make so much more sense if Chris and Noel were like doing a podcast off screen the whole time. And it's like we just never saw it happening.
Dude, that's what they're doing at the end of the weird route. They're going off to form their podcasts. They're, they're going down a different... No one could have predicted that this is the path they've chosen to walk together. All right, folks, so we're talking about Deltarune. Hey, Chapter 5 just came out, folks. It was the flower/anime level. Japan, bro.
Last time I was on, it was the day before it came out. And even we were even then, I briefly got to mention, like, I love Japan, period. And it's like, could that have been any more correct? Toby, who loves Japan, period, more than Toby Fox? Fucking nobody.
Very few people, though he may be a fake cell. He may be pretending to love Japan just for the sheer clout that comes with it. I've always suspected this about him.
I'm pretty sure he voices Flowery in both English and Japanese. which is hilarious.
I haven't listened to the Japanese dub at all, but
It's pretty good.
That sounds like the sort of thing he would do.
As we all know, Toby Fox, prolific voice actor, you know, the official canon
the voice of
John
fucking
Egbert.
Egbert.
John
Yeah,
Egbert. God, I forgot that pilot
He
came
is.
out.
I cannot believe he had the main character syndrome to personally want to play John Egbert. That is nuts.
Did he want? I feel like that was like a Andrew Hussey says you have to do this, and Toby just says, Toby can't say no to Andrew Hussey.
Well, did he do a good? All that really matters is, I mean, first of all, I would never watch that in my life, except I don't know. It just seems like the worst thing ever. But was it good? Was it well done?
It was like it. Okay, how long was this again? Because it was pretty short, right?
I don't even know.
Because I watched this when it came out. Yeah, it was like 11 minutes. Here's the thing: you can't watch this as like this is the first episode of the Homestuck TV show. You have to be like this is what they would show to like investors to be like no, I promise this is like totally a cool high intensity like show with lots of energy and lots of action because like. You know, well, okay, we're really gonna talk about Homestuck, but I was about to be like, it's like the vibes are so weird. All I'll say is I don't even have time to get into the whole critique of it all. All I'll say is you know, by going so fast. I just want to say I understand why it's like this. I understand they can't have 11 minutes of them just two people talking on a computer back and forth,
figuring out the pester logs. And
exactly. In fact, the way they portray some of that with them like walking around the rooms, talking to each other, like all that's fine. My main complaint, which was just like the one complaint, what I would love to see them not do is what is up with Dave. Dave's characterization is insane. Like he is not. That's just not Dave.
What was wrong with Dave? What did they?
He was just way too upbeat, like happy. He was like smiling and stuff. He just did not feel like Dave to me. But
hey, fair enough. I expected every character to be raped and bad. So it makes sense to me.
Dave in the pilot. I'll explain to you this way, Nate. The pilot covers the first 100 pages up until like you know John looks up and sees the media fucking about to crash. Essentially, those first 100 pages. Dave is. You know, less weird, edgy teenager, you know, and more like sarcastic, edgy teenager. That's the main change.
Okay. Yeah, Dave was always a pretty dry character. He looked fun. He was a silly guy. He made jokes and stuff. But, you know, I mean, look at his face. He's got, like, the straight line across. That's his avatar. He's not a laughy, funny, goofy, bounce-off-the-wall crazy guy, you know? And then he had his whole, like, character, like, ego death in, like, Chapter 6 or whatever, which, you know, it all went to shit around then anyway. But what are you going to do?
I truly feel like this would be so confusing to watch if you, like, didn't already know about Homestuck, you know what I mean? Because they're just, like, going through it so fast. And they're like, they're like, you're like getting like the setup to jokes and not even getting the payoff, or you're like just getting the punchlines to shit. It's like I don't know.
It is 100 pages crammed into 10 minutes.
That's a lot of material. I mean, I can only imagine how much.
But it's like I'm trying to explain though that like I get it though. Like I understand that it's like I understand that they can't do like a 1-to-1 adaptation of the comic. Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. So much about Homestuck specifically is like the reason Homestuck works is because it is
itself.
And it's because of the format that it's in, and you have time to relax and read, and like reading like AIM conversations, because this is way before they had Discord, but I guess the equivalent would be like reading like Discord logs. Like that's the type of stuff you don't get to just you don't have time to do that in a movie. Like really, just sit around and read like a bunch of.
Very true. You know what we're living in? We're living in the era where like anime is now really popular and stuff, and so the pipeline of look, you make a manga. It's like the SparkNotes version of like what the anime will do to make it like a real version of the story. And this has been like beaten into us for quite some time now. I mean, this was done with like Charlie Brown and the fucking comics turned into whatever, but it's like it's like a big anime manga thing. And this has always not been real. This has always been like, if you read like everybody loves like the Death Note anime, I much prefer the manga because the tone is like I don't know, more true to the original version, and the anime does all these like eccentric things that are really fun, but they like are so different from like the original version of the story. But we've all just been told like, nope, that's how you make it real. So much is lost.
The pacing in the second half of the Death Note anime is insane. It's like they literally felt like they just wanted to do all the stuff with L, and they're like, I guess we have to do all the other shit. And they just did it as fast as humanly possible.
After that,
they
know. Once L was dead, everybody complains about the second. I like the second half.
In the manga, like they're in the show, Nier is just psychic. He can just like deduce things for no reason. In the manga, they actually explain why. They actually take the time to explain how he figures out some of this shit. And you can still not like Nier. That's fine. But like, it's like I don't know. I'm not sure pretend like the second half is like as good or whatever, but like there were things to enjoy about it. Also, even just things like the ending, like the actual ending, like Light dying pathetically in front of everyone. Why did he have to run away and epically die on some stairs looking at
I'll do whatever you want, man. What was Ryuk? I'll suck your dick, Ryuk.
Right?
I'll do whatever you want, man.
I mean, it's not, they didn't ruin the ending. I'm not saying they just changed it slightly, but like I was like, why even do that? Like, what is the whatever? It's fine.
I don't know.
You don't understand, Cyber. You don't understand. Light needed to run and down the epic stairs, so that could be a future reference to the Joker, 2020
Yes.
movie.
They're referencing it through time and space.
Anime. Foot massage. Plot critical foot massage in the anime.
Right.
Holy shit, boys.
It's so funny. I remember watching that and not understanding any of like the biblical allusion to like Jesus washing feet. And I was just like, what is this gay shit?
Dude, it doesn't. That makes as much sense as like the biblical imagery in Evangelion, which is to say almost zero.
Right.
Like, okay, is light Christ-like? Is L? No, nobody's Christ-like. If anything, Kira's like the Antichrist, who's like, pretending to be God, but is like destroying the world.
Not even close, though. Like,
I don't know.
Like, what he does or doesn't do. Okay, but...
Wait, I just want to say the second half of Death Note is cool, and I really like this idea of, like, Light 1, and how has that changed the world? That's a really cool idea. We do get to see some of that. All of that stuff is really good. It's just that none of the antagonists are at all cool, like, as cool as L. That's, like,
in a way, it almost is sort of like an obligation, the second half, because, like, you can't just end it after he kills L. Like, you just can't have Light win, because that would be bad, because he's a bad guy, you know what I mean? And I like the idea of getting to see the new status quo or whatever. Although I will say it's like, God, everyone on that team who worked with Light is just so stupid that they could never figure out that it's fine. I still love him anyways. It's fine. It's fine. There's some great scenes in there, right?
Matsuda shot the shit out of Light.
No, that was great. That was great. Yeah, and in the manga, we got the epic swimming lessons meme. I mean, you got a little bit of that in the anime.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, and it's so funny. We literally switched tracks. We switched tracks from Homestuck directly onto Death Note.
You see, that's what happens.
We gotta move the tracks back. We gotta move the tracks back.
The only reason I'm saying, I know someone in chat or someone listening right now is like, oh my God, why they're going back to Homestuck? We have to stay on Homestuck because Homestuck is parallel to Deltarune, which is the actual subject of the episode.
It'll happen.
Also parallel to Undertale. Yeah.
But just to move the tracks from the Homestuck TV pilot thing to Homestuck again. Yeah. Cyber, just a real ass question to you, because I felt this when I was watching the Homestuck pilot, which was I kind of have like the vague same complaints that you do, and I'm like, well, this is pretty fast paced and nobody will understand it if you haven't read the comic. But in my mind's eye, I'm like, this is about what I expect the Homestuck show to be. Like, I felt like what they
if you're gonna try to make a show, it's gonna be weird.
Yeah, I felt like they did the best they could do. Like, I'm trying to imagine a Homestuck TV show, and I honestly could not have imagined a better thing than what they did.
But okay, go on, sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, it sounded like I was talking a lot of shit, and I sort of was talking a lot of shit, but like, I sort of totally agree with you, which is that like making Homestuck into a show in the first place is such a strange choice in my mind that it's like, this is about as good as you can do. I understand why they're not the little, gremlin versions. They're the more elongified, Tumblr-fied character design, which is great. And you got the cute joke where like the hole in the wall was his original shape or whatever. I will say there's a lot of swearing. People want to blame Vivzy Pop or whatever for that. I think that might not even necessarily be her fault. I forget what her involvement is.
There is swearing in the original for sure.
That's what I mean. There's a lot of swearing in the original too. So it's like I'm like the least possible like qualified person in the world to complain about too much swearing, because I'm always like swearing a bunch of my fucking videos. I used to be my whole thing back in the day was swearing too much.
You are a YouTuber. This is like a show. I mean, I swear a ton.
I'm not anti-swearing
in my
at all, but like the fucks per minute, cut it down a little bit. I shouldn't even notice it is the problem. And you should be swearing. There should be swears. Homestuck should not be for children.
It's so different in text versus hearing it in like an animated format. It lands totally.
The delivery, you have to nail the delivery of every single fuck, because it's such a versatile word. There's just some jokes, I swear, like the Sylladex stuff, where the joke is that it's like this overly complex stuff, but they don't even give that joke time to breathe in the show because they don't want to waste a bunch of time on it. So it's like this is just such a confusing.
I'm sorry, your average Zoomer knows everything about first in, first out stack. Okay, they're very up to date on all these things.
Right. But that's fine. Maybe it'll just be like, this can hit for the freaking programmers or whatever. I will say the one major, quote unquote, major complaint, if I had to give, if they could put me in a room with Toby Fox and Vivzy, I'm allowed to give them one real complaint. I wouldn't even say the Dave thing because everybody knows that.
Like how Toby Fox, or I like how Hussey isn't even included.
Hussey's not there. Fuck that. I don't give a shit.
Nobody even cares what Hussey has to say anymore.
His opinion doesn't matter.
Homestuck belongs to Toby Fox now. He owns it now.
I will just say in like the moment in the comic where in the title drops, he like goes outside and it like zooms out and it's like this like eerie moment, and it's allowed to just like sit with you. Like it instantly they undercut it with a joke in the show. It's like there's like no time for any atmosphere or building or like I don't know what the right word is that I'm even looking for is, but like there's like a sort of unsettlingness quality to early Homestuck, because it's like, I don't know. Yeah. It's not that it's a fake world, because it is a real world in the world of Homestuck, but I mean, when you get that zoom out of like the suburbs or whatever, it's like, I don't know. There's just an element, there's just a feeling of early Homestuck that they did not quite
kind of vibe to it. It's like it's so empty. We don't see
first of all, they're also
Dad and Jake or John. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's true. I don't even mind that they're showing us like the designs of some of like Jade and stuff early on. That's great. I love this character. It's fine. It's also just like I kind of forgot what I was gonna say a little bit, but it's just like, I don't know. Everything about the early Homestuck, like it sort of goes back to what I was saying, where it had time to breathe or whatever. Whereas this is just gonna go by so fast. I'm not sure if it's gonna hit for people. It's not gonna like have that same like feeling.
Okay, I think it's for the Homestuck adaptation thing. I think it's that they wanted to get to like the cool stuff. They wanted to be like, there is a meeting, apocalypse is about to happen.
That's very true.
Yeah, they wanted to like get to that, and they wanted to be like, oh, these are the characters, these are everything that's happening. Because like, I remember the first like 100, 200 pages of Homestuck. A lot of it is just like walking around, being like, what's going on? And like, because, you know, we see it from John for the most part at the beginning, which is like this like hazy middle of the day kind of vibe. It's like really fucking chill, you know what I mean? And it's like the music is so common when you finally like see like the first like...
Well, because it's like an adventure game that you're supposed to kind of fuck around in and like feel your way around. So yeah, there's an absolutely sort of like slow, methodical pace to it. Yeah, like
that framing
Myst or
just
whatever
does not come across in the the animated pilot. There's like one isometric shot where it's like almost sort of like, it's like, yeah, it's like a game, right? But then it's like, again, and I understand they don't have time to do this. And especially for the pilot especially is they're really just trying to get through it as fast, show as much different stuff as possible, get to that quote unquote like the fight scene he has with his dad, which again, the joke in the comic is that it's like just a couple like sprites waving around, and I don't know why. It's cool that there's fun action and all that. That's fine. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying, is this like I still don't understand, like I still feel like this is just giving you a strange idea of what Homestuck will actually be like. Like, I imagine watching this and be like, oh, I'm so excited for more of that, and then you sit down and read the comic and you're just like, what the fuck am I even looking at?
At this point, you have to just bring up that, like, bro, it's an IP and they want to make money off the IP, and like,
absolutely.
It is also so weird, the timing, right?
Make a show,
we have to talk about the timing. It's 2025. This feel like striking the iron when it's weird. Cold, like sub-zero Arctic temperatures.
Would Hussey do that take too long to make something?
Oh yeah, right. Okay, right. To be fair, whatever. It's fine that they didn't make this big in 2000 fucking whenever the peak of Homestuck was. Here's the thing. In my mind, I'm like, whatever. This pilot got a lot of views. People cared about Homestuck. This pilot has 2.5 million views right now. In my mind, that's a lot of views. But as far as like
relative
indie,
to other things,
as far I was about to say they were probably hoping for a lot more than that. TBH. Yeah. Can I look up? Like, do you understand? Like, I didn't understand this until I looked it up. Like, how many views per episode does Digital Circus have?
400 million on episode 1.
What? I know that. I remember seeing that and be like, what? And I like it. I'm not even being a hater at all. But it's just like, it's just hard for me to even wrap my head around that shit. You know what I mean? It's just like, that is so many views.
200 times the viewership of this Homestuck pilot on YouTube. It's night and day.
Right. So this is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to shit on them for getting 2.5 million views. That's a lot of views. But I feel like they probably were like hoping for more, is all I'm saying. So no
doubt.
So I'm curious, like, is this even going to be a thing? Like, did this get the reception they wanted?
Didn't do well enough. It's not.
Okay. I'm gonna interject here and just say, I think this show exists literally because Vizzy Pop is a big fan of Homestuck, and she has a super successful show called Has Been Hotel, and she has hell of a
They let her do it, right?
Yeah, it's true.
And it's true. If you've noticed,
and she just has the connections to Hussey and Toby.
Yeah. And also, if you've noticed, like literally the way we're talking about right now, it's like, oh, we're talking about Vizzy Pop, we're talking about Toby. Hussey's like way like
gone.
Not involved. You know what I mean?
He's like, involved though, right? The thing is, he's deliberately.
Andrew Hussey, is that you, little guy? I forgot all about you. Time to go cash my Undertale check for the month. Me, Toby, Big Dick Fox. You know.
That's the thing. Okay, there's like a Andrew in the special thanks of Deltarune. I'm like, is that Andrew Hussey? Is he afraid to put the name Andrew Hussey in there, or did he just deliberately not? Like, I wonder.
Dude, he knows it would be brand suicide to reference Andrew Hussey in the game.
I was just like,
man. Maybe not.
Yeah, but
maybe
if
not.
this show ever gets made, it's because Vizzy Pop wanted it to exist because she's a fan of Homestuck. That is it.
She's unstoppable. She's
Definitely.
unstoppable. All right, guys, I'm officially calling a close to discussion of Homestuck.
We could be blabbing about this crap all day.
But I want to talk about the Supergirl movie, though, Nate.
Yeah, let's talk about that now. We're a half an hour in. We've got to talk about Deltarune because there's a ton to talk about.
We've been teasing people. Every time we bring up Toby, they're like, "What?" Their ears perk up, and they're like, "Oh, they're still talking about Homestuck."
Andrew Hussey, who the hell is that? I've never heard of this guy ever before. I'm right there with you, brother. Okay. Deltarune Chapter 5 is here, folks. Like I said, flower anime level. It's the Asgore level we've all been waiting for.
It's so funny.
You've got the festival.
People,
go on.
People for years were speculating, since Chapter 4 came out, they've been speculating, Asgore has to be the boss of this chapter, because if you look in the files, there's like boss 1, it was like, I think it was Queen, and the boss 2 was Tenna. I don't know why they didn't have King in there. They said boss 3 .png or whatever was that picture of Asgore, and they're like, so Asgore is definitely the final boss. But when we got there, Asgore's not the boss. It was Flowery. And then people look back, it was Tricky Toby again, because if you look at that boss 3.png, it's Asgore with the flower. The flower's in the picture, and the flower was the boss. I will say,
tricked him. He literally tricked him.
There's a lot of funny jokes or whatever in this chapter. The hardest I laughed, I cackled like a hyena. The hardest I laughed was just the name reveal, Flowery, which is such a stupid fucking name. But it's so funny.
You know what? I'll just say there was good lore and stuff. My singular favorite moment was, you're in an anime world. There's all these like foxes everywhere. It was, and this is my favorite thing in general. Toby's just great at like this kind of stuff. And it's, there's foxes. They're all like pretending to be things anime style, etc. And you go to that one on like the right side of the castle where there's a green sun. And the sun itself is a fox transformed into the giant sun on the horizon that you have to like outrun to like get an item.
And it runs with like the cartoon sound effects. This is a very funny moment.
That was so good. I laughed so much at that. Fantastic, Toby. You tricked me again, Toby.
This is what I mean. Toby has a good like sense of. He has a good sense of like, I don't even know if slapstick is the right word exactly, but like just comedy in game form. The kind of jokes you can do in a video game that like, it just wouldn't. It would be funny to see that in a show too. But like when you realize that you actually have to like get the mushroom to the thing before the fucking guy comes over.
Flowery does the thing where like there's all the buttons that you need like 4 people to push. And so you go get Flowery, you come back and you're like, he'll just stand on it. But no, he's like, actually all 3 of you stand to the side. I alone will do it all. And then he simply hits the door and blows it up anyway. So none of this was necessary. Hilarious, nicely done, Toby. You tricked me once again.
Lots of interesting Chapter 1 parallels, like the whole opening area and all that stuff. And it's funny because back in like 2022, not that long after Chapter 2 dropped, I made a tweet that's like, I'm just gonna say it, Ralsei looked better with the hat on, and that got like a bunch of likes.
Indeed.
And here's the thing, I felt a lot of people said that. It's not like I was like the vanguard of this Ralsei looked good with a hat movement or whatever. But like since then, I feel bad because like especially in this chapter, it comes up so many times of people bullying Ralsei, like you look better with the hat on. He keeps getting pissed off. And the funny thing is,
got to be a reference to the debate going on.
Well, okay, it's because I thought Toby settled this because in Chapter 4, there's a part in like Castletown or 4 or 3, I forget which one. You can like talk to like the royal hat rack and like you can like see Ralsei's hat. And then he's the point where he's like, I lost it. You're not gonna see that hat again. I thought that was Toby just looking at the camera and be like, the hat's not fucking coming back, guys. The hat's gone.
It probably was, but then he probably changed his mind again and wanted to talk to everybody.
I actually came to, is this Stockholm Syndrome or what? I think I prefer hatless Ralsei in the overworld, the big fluffy ears and all that jazz, but the hatted talk sprites were so funny that like I missed them so much. And now I got to see him again in Chapter 5, so I'm happy. It's okay. I don't need him to permanently have the hat back on. I just wanted to see it again, and I did, I'm happy.
If I were Toby, I would let the player somehow like get to choose which sprites they want. I mean, why not? You could just be in the inventory or something, hit a switch to turn the hat on or off.
It's because it's something about like Ralsei's character when he takes the hat off at the end of Chapter 1. He's
it is plot significant for sure, especially in this chapter where it's like used to.
Right. It is
Going
funny.
on, hiding his look from Asgore.
Right, exactly. He specifically put on Flowery. I think it was like you have to put on because you don't want to freak out Asgore. And then at the end, Asgore just sees him without the hat, and he's like, "Oh, that's fine. I don't give a shit." I mean, he looks.
I might have missed that because I was.
He's one comment where he's like, "Oh, that your friend kind of looks like Azrael, but like the more you look, the more you realize that they're different." Or some
I remember
shit like
that line. I had thought he had the hat on. Am I retarded? Did that he not wearing the hat?
I think the hat's off at the end. Either way, it ended up not being like a big deal in quotation marks. Like I'm still curious.
Okay, if that's gotta be setting something up, it has to be.
We're
like,
still.
That's gotta be more significant.
He's been
than
cock
that,
teasing
right?
us with Azrael at college since chapter 1. I'm still curious. Are we at this point? I'm curious. Are we even going to see Azrael, or is it going to be some like?
We have
I mean,
to.
Yeah. Okay.
Toriel
was also saying the shit.
To be the knight, baby, when he comes back.
Azrael
and
Knight.
killing everybody.
It could
Azrael
happen.
Knight.
It's
so
technically
real.
possible.
I'm an Azrael truther. 100%.
It's funny, dude. I remember being my story about being cock teased by Toby here is Papyrus is my favorite guy from Undertale, and then in chapter 1 he's like, "Hey, bro, you want to hang out with my brother tomorrow?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm gonna get to see Papyrus."
Papyrus
in chapter
fans
2.
are the most punished in the
And
whole
then in
series
chapter
right
2,
now.
he's like, "Oh, sorry, it looks like it's not gonna happen today." So it's like, "Oh, that's fine. I don't mind waiting another chapter." And then 3 and 4, you didn't get to see him. And then at this point, I had given up hope. I've given up hope. I'm seeing Papyrus. If anything. I don't even think we're going to see him. You have to give up all hope in your heart. So now I can be pleasantly surprised.
He'll appear in like
if we see
chapter
him.
7 to save you at the very end or some shit like that.
It's fine. It's fine that Papyrus is on a bit. In fact, like at first it's like, oh my god, it stands. But it's like it's fine. I'm glad, of course, now that Deltarune is about the Deltarune characters. It's not just about Sans and Papyrus and all these people again. You know what I mean? Even Undyne and was not in the game that much. He's plot relevant that she gets kidnapped and all that jazz. But like, it's not like we get that much Undyne screen time. Even look, Asgore, if anything, it's interesting. Like we got a lot of screen time with Asgore, and I did enjoy that. I mean, they're using him in an interesting way.
His whole backstory was
he's the vague post-king where he'll never say what happened in the past. That he's mysteriously.
I do think from some of the lore, I think we can rule out him running over desks with his car,
I know that big
I
meme.
do think we
it's
can
funny.
rule that out.
That meme was so huge that like it's funny because like now it's just like you know obviously it's fine. Memes happen and they die out, but it's like there wasn't even. Not that I expected Toby to put a fucking reference to that meme specifically necessarily. Although he's not that he's above putting references to Phantom culture into the games, obviously with fucking cowboy shit. But I don't know. It's just funny.
Can we just address the obvious Undertale yellow shit going on with with the cowboy and the? I mean,
right?
Years.
Fandom psychosis.
Yellow.
I also did not play it. I'm a little bit aware of it.
Have you played Undertale Yellow? Cyber, have you played it?
I have not.
I fucking
need
completed that shit.
Okay, well, what's your take on it then?
Do you think it was like a reference to that? What's your take?
I thought there was one reference explicitly to it, but they were just drawing from the same yellow heart characteristics that we've known about since
the cowboy theme.
Yeah, it's like the cowboy theme. We already had that in Undertale, and it was like Undertale probably had an effect on like quote unquote canonizing like the vague look. You know what I mean? That was probably like that.
I gotta play it, man.
I mean, Clover is is the kid called Clover?
Yes.
Because I would say they look pretty different than the giant fucking suicidal woody cowboy ass character we ended up getting.
But it's vibes. It's vibes. It is what it is. Is it good? Here's your answer, Nate. Writing horrifically bad. Game pretty good.
Okay, all right, I can live with that. I mean, it's not canon, so I have low expectations.
Right.
The game is so fucking big. There's a lot of cool shit going on. Also, like just thinking about it. Oh, it's a fan game. It's for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, the animations are like almost like hitting that Deltarune level.
Sometimes Undertale's fan game stuff is like, this is too good. It doesn't even look like Undertale because it doesn't it has to have a little bit of that Toby quality. Like you can't be Toby. Obviously,
you know what though? On that note though, there's such a clear thing. Like when you get to the shop on the cliffs in chapter 5, it's like, okay, this is a Temmie sprite work was done here. You can see that it looks good. And by the way, I've had Undertale Yellow on my desktop to play for like 2 or it's right there on my desktop.
Yeah, no, I've done that too.
Never clicked it.
It happens. The only fan game I ever played was Ribbit, which was really, really good. Although I played an older version of it. That was built off of just like Chapter 1 survey program, I think. So that's like an old Deltarune fan game.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I did really enjoy all this stuff we got to see in Chapter 5.
It ruled.
First of all, we should talk about, honestly, the elephant in the room, the platforming stuff. Like, that is such a cool reveal. Yep. That was such a Toby moment,
once again, this is when Toby just does the thing that kind of just blows me away. Now, okay, look, there's all kinds of games that do all kinds of impressive stuff. The thing about, all I'm saying is Toby Fox has definitely watched Mickle and consulted the chart, okay? He's definitely consulting the chart regularly to be like, the thing that I love about what Toby does is what a lot of indie game devs do, which is they have like really basic mechanics that they push very far. And when they add a new thing, they basically push it as far as it can go within the constraints that it's built within. Like chess and like studying chess and all the 1,000 of moves, but it's all contained within the system. The platforming was simple, but but really fun to do, very well constructed, and the way that you seamlessly jump in between the two gameplay styles was awesome, and I totally loved it, and it just ruled. You know,
it was very cool. It was hype moments and aura, and I agree with you. It was like it wasn't the most complex platforming in the world, but it was just enough, and it was just layered enough.
I don't want it to be.
He had that classic
simple.
He had that classic Nintendo shit where he starts off very, very simple, and then he starts introducing a couple little elements, like little wrenches in the plan, and then it's like, you know, the escalation of challenge was it was really good. And then you get that epic moment where at the end, Ralse and Susie are like, oh, well, let's just fucking act on our own. Which, again, I feel like is going to be story relevant, where they're going to have more like agency over their own shit. You know what I mean?
Dude, okay, I went to that room again on a second playthrough as I was trying to kill everybody this time. And I was like, okay, this time in the room, I am going to, without their help, succeed in the room.
You can't
I was not able to do it, but I feel like
I think
if you
possible.
Could, there's got to be some even text blurb rewarding you for doing
that's
so.
Another thing.
Got to be in
since Undertale, that's one of my favorite things of Toby. It's just the weird conditional things that like he will have planned for, and like have like there's like some crazy shit where like you can break some vines, or like they're like disappearing platforms, and you can like get up to a place early, and then fucking Zenlooker will be there, and you're like, oh, you think you're so cool with your freaking breaking the disappearing flood threads. I didn't find it my first playthrough, but he says, why don't you go home and do 100% run of your shower, nerd? It's good stuff. It's very funny.
Do a shower speed run. Yeah, that's epic.
But God, yeah, there's so many elements that I don't even like know what to talk about, because there's like the gameplay stuff, there's all the there's like the story stuff, there's the broader story implications, there's the weird route stuff.
Why don't we go in order of the stuff I have here? So I've got it kind of divided. First is like basic lore of the chapter. Let's talk about some of the basic stuff here. So this is the flower shop chapter.
Dude,
and basically
we've been getting cock teased by these flowers since 2018 or whatever, since we were first able to go into Asgore's shop, and in the highly mysterious array of flowers in the very, and I will say, it's not that this is bad in any way, shape, or form, but like the flower shop is the most obvious there will be a dark fountain here place in the whole game. You know what I mean? Like, people have basically predicted that since day one. And glad we finally got it, is my point. It's like, oh my god, after all this time, we finally got it.
It feels good. It feels good. And there was more to it than I could have dreamed. But Noni, remind me, when did this thing start? When did Deltarune first come out again? 2017 was it? Or was it 2018?
October 31st, 2018. I remember because it was a shadow drop.
Oh yeah, in the survey program, epic. Tricky Toby did it once again. I can't believe it. That was the original trick.
So 8 years. We're 8 years right now.
Okay. Oh, okay. At the end of this whole discussion, we will have a talk about the timeline and like, I know Noni wants to talk about that.
Absolutely.
We'll come back to that after we discuss like the merits of the chapter and stuff.
Sure.
First of all, Nate,
go ahead.
I shall not allow, the gay erasure of calling chapter 5, the flower shop chapter. It doesn't start like that. This is the hashtag fucking third wheeling on a fucking date chapter.
Yuri chapter.
It's
crazy. The amount of light world stuff, the actual time you spend in the light world is so long, actually, which I like. I was happy to have the whole. They are hyping up this festival, by the way, this whole fucking game too, and we finally
it was
got
good.
it.
The festival was pretty
I
cool.
also enjoyed it. It was cool. It was fun. It was cute, and it's
tragically, this game is destroying the West once again by making everyone a lesbian. So much for the white race, folks. We had a good run, but it's over now.
It's okay.
But no, it was funny, and I enjoyed it. And they did the Susie and Chris giving each other juice once again shot in the the dressed up church or whatever. I really enjoy the dynamic of like, so Susie's trying to have this date. I guess this is what kids are like, right? Susie and Noelle are trying to have this gay date, and Chris is just there, like telling everyone what to do and like being like an insane third wheel that just like keeps getting referenced and inserting himself.
It's absolutely a third wheel like situation where Susie tells Chris, or Susie, one of them tells Susie, you should be in charge and like lead us around, like so it's like third wheel. It's like consensual third wheeling, I guess. You know what I mean?
It is,
but it's funny because it's also just
wheeling.
it's just because it's the conceit of like Chris is the player. Well, the soul is the whatever. You control Chris, so you have to be the one walking around with everyone following behind you. You know what I mean? It's just it is very funny though, like to imagine that in an in-universe setting.
I mean, I definitely enjoyed that. Just for the record, at the very end, I did this on my second playthrough. You know when Susie asks you to walk her home, and you have to say like, yes or no. I said no the second time, and then Chris like ripped me out of his chest, put me in a balloon, and then I was forced to be walking Susie home. And so like you don't even there's nuance between who's Chris and who are you, and it's crazy, and there's lore behind it.
Well, it's so funny because
man,
do you remember the original cliffhanger after chapter 1 was Chris?
Remind me, I forget.
we do everything in chapter 1. That's
Yeah.
fine. You get home. Then Chris rips the heart out of their chest and throws it in the bird cage or whatever, and they pull out a knife and they look at the camera with a red eye and they smile. It's also the only time I think we've ever seen Chris smile.
Probably.
And we think everyone
nice
for 3
guy.
years people are like, oh my god, it's Chara or Chara or whatever from Undertale. You know what I mean? Oh my god, it's Genocide Route. This is Undertale 2. Blah blah blah. And then that was all just like misdirection for Chris eating the fucking pie or whatever. Although I will say we've gotten some insane like Chris doing shit on their own, climbing out the window, coming back fucking green.
Let's just say Chris clearly opened the fountain in this chapter. Maybe there's some tricky, and it was very clearly like Chris just like takes us out, sneaks around, and opens the fountain. This is. I
feel like this chapter basically has now, basically in my mind at least, proven that Chris also was the one who did the fountain in chapter 1 because the similarities are there. I mean, and just
probably.
And obviously we know Chris did Tenna or chapter 3, so we don't know who did, or rather, we don't quote unquote don't know who did. The computer lab in chapter 2 and the church chapter 4, other than it was the knight.
The knight is out there. The knight is out there doing
the knight.
Stuff. Different
Obviously, it was the
character.
knight. That's what I mean. We don't know, except it was the knight.
They're two separate
yes,
people.
they're definitely two different people. That's 100% confirmed.
It's so funny. Yeah, that was another. The
everywhere.
cliffhanger at the end of chapter 2 was that everyone was like, "Oh my God, Chris is the knight. Chris is the knight. Chris is the knight." And then at the end of chapter 3, the knight shows up, and everyone was just like, "What?" The great super hype moment in Aura, because that felt like not like a sequence break, but like it felt like we shouldn't be fighting the knight in chapter 3. This is crazy.
Yeah, it felt too soon. It felt way too soon. But,
and that's another classic video game moment of the fight you're quote unquote supposed to fail, but you can beat. Love that.
But you can beat
Love
it.
that
Yes,
trope.
That's the good shit right there. Yep. And of course I beat it because I'm an epic gamer. And man, this just reminded me playing through this. I am so bad at like the bullet hell aspect of this game. I'm unbelievably shit. There's so many things going on screen that I cannot keep track of them all and dodge them. I can't do it. I rely on items like a motherfucker.
Oh god, no item run would be hard as hell. I've brute forced my way into being quote unquote good at it. I will still say Sans in Undertale is like one of the hardest fucking things I've ever done in a game. That fight is brutal. And people will be like, oh, Sans isn't even that hard, dude. Jevil is harder. No, you are brain broken if you think that. You fucked your brain up with that stupid bad time simulator website. Sans is like the hardest fight in the franchise by far. The only other contender is the Knight. And even then, they nerfed the sword hallway, so the Knight's not that bad anymore, guys.
It's still Sans. Maybe one
to
day
be fair,
I
have not done Shadow Mantle List Knight. Maybe that's harder, but even I can't imagine it, dude. You can hit the fucking Knight, man. I mean I can't, but like people can do it. Like I'm sure you can.
Well, first of all, you're like kind of arbitrarily making that boss harder because you're kind of supposed to have a Shadow Mantle to do. Now, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. I'm sure that's very hard, but like that's like a sort of a true challenge run. Where I will say, Sans is not a true exactly challenge run. It like the Genocide route is sort of the main route of the game.
Yeah, he's the final boss of Undertale. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's the main route, but like it is he's the final boss because he's the hardest challenge of the game. And he's also probably the last thing you're going to do because you have to be actual psychotic to do Genocide Route, like your first playthrough. It's one thing to do a violent neutral route, that's fine. But like to actually get to Sans on your first playthrough, you'd have to like be insane.
I would imagine very few people actually did that.
You basically can't because you have to be grind. I mean, you grind. Well, I was going to say, do you have to do anything really?
You have to go out of your way.
You really have to go out of your way to grind like crazy style. But the thing is, some people do that. Okay, some people do that in RPGs. I was trying to remember.
But you know what? Once again, that game is so short. It's like I like everybody else.
Dude,
got, like,
chapter 5 of Deltarune is like longer than Undertale.
I
maybe not quite, but like it's long. I mean, I'm saying that as a compliment to Deltarune. Dude, it's going to be so strange to me, the idea of that someone will have never played Deltarune before, and then at some point in the future, they're gonna be able to sit down and play all 7 chapters back to back. Like they don't even understand what they're missing, and I'm not like trying to gatekeep or whatever in the sense that like it's fine to wait. I actually respect that in a way with episodic games, but like you're not gonna understand the brain rot we had with the Spampton sweepstakes and the friend inside me. You're not gonna understand why Mike's a cowboy, okay? But that's fine.
It's really very similar to the fact that like serialized manga is a week-to-week experience, that there's a community and there's theories and all kinds of stuff.
The act of binging all of One Piece has got to be so different than like reading One Piece weekly or whatever your whole life.
No doubt. It's going to be massively different.
Will start reading One Piece after knowing what One Piece is. They will be...
yeah, dude, that's going to be weird. That's going to be so strange. Well, anyway, let's quickly...
real quick before I forget, and this is related.
Go ahead.
This is slightly jumping ahead, but before I forget what I was going to say, the secret boss, because we're on the subject of secret bosses, the secret boss of Chapter 5, when I saw the fucking Mad Mew Mew or whatever... anime figurine outside of the store, I literally said to myself, I was like, oh god, please tell me the secret boss is not Mad Mew Mew. again. And then we got there and I was like, oh, it's Mad Mew Mew again. And the only reason I was salty, the only reason I was salty is because we've already have a Mad Mew Mew fight in Undertale on the Switch.
Yep.
But
which I never played because I didn't play the console version.
That's the thing, dude. There's a lot of reasons why not everyone got to play that version, and I warmed up to it. Okay, the long story short, I warmed up to it. I liked the secret boss fight.
The fight was great, man.
The fight was great.
To argue with.
Let me just okay. First thing that warmed me up to it was I always liked the Muffet fight. So the fact we got a purple heart super boss, I was like interesting. The song was fun, Hatsune Miku, and Mad Mew Mew was just a fun character. And specifically, what really won me over was the fight was fun. That was good. But that fucking Bomberman attack. But I eventually sort of just brute forced my way through that. The thematic elements of the two souls or quote unquote soul, like the two people in one body, which is just the way that is relevant to Chris,
reflects
you know what I mean?
Right?
And potentially now people are going crack theories with dude, what if the knight is Chris and Noelle fused together in the depths, gone back in time? No, we still don't know the identity of the knight, which is crazy. I mean, there's so many. Everyone, quote unquote, knows the knight is Des, but we still don't understand how that works, what that means. How can Des be trapped in the code? How can Des be trapped in the code and Des be lost if Des is in the knight is working with Carol? Which we don't even technically. We know Chris is working with Carol. We know Chris is working with the knight.
Carol believers, stand and be counted. We cannot let ourselves fall away from the light of the Lord. Carol as knight is so not impossible. I still think
what happened? Okay, Carol Knight, the stocks are so low, people don't believe it anymore. People stop saying the cool name. People say Carol Knight, they don't say Knight Mayor anymore, which is such a cool
Rudy Knight gods. We stand
Rudy Knight, Rudy Knight, this is the one. This is the one people are into now. People are into Rudy Knight. This is the big thing. Because for so long, this was a meme theory. This was practically a meme theory. But there's enough circumstantial evidence. Here's the thing. I'm just a little skeptical just because of the timing of Rudy's fallen down at the festival. I'm in the hospital. Let me just sneak out real quick
false
to
flag.
be
it's
the
false
knight.
Flag illness. It's not real. He's pretending.
And the other thing people are saying is, his illness is related to the things he's doing in the Dark Worlds or whatever.
It could be.
And the one thing I'm going to say, some people are like, oh, dude, the knight looked injured or whatever this chapter. The knight did not look injured this chapter. They just crashed into a wall at high speed and they were leaning over for one sprite. They still were at full power. They still soloed Flowery. They still captured Asgore and cucked the whole party with the frame perfect second Dark Fountain creation to cancel out the.
I know that was some bullshit there, man.
It's awesome. It's hilarious.
He got us. He fucking got us. He's a gamer.
Right? Funny shit, man. Yeah, he's a gamer, all right.
People in the community love to be like, oh, the Roaring Knight, the Roaring Fraud. I beat them in Chapter 3. I'm so good. But it's you don't even beat the Knight in Chapter 3. You do a quarter of their health bar, and then the fight ends.
Yeah. So the Night stocks are still quite high, despite what people think. Defeating the situation that you're presented with and not immediately dying is presented as this I have totally evaporated from existence. I dismantled them on the atomic level. Not in fact the case. There's I will say this though. Actually, in terms of aura loss, there was an aura loss that happened there.
I have to defend our power scalers because, and this is a canon fact about the Undertale Deltarune universe. It's you are stronger than the Knight because you literally control time and space. No matter what he does, you are gonna cook him eventually.
True, and the game acknowledges this actually weirdly because it's the only time Gaster talks to you besides the character creator is he'll be jerking off and watching the live stream and be like, dude, you were so close to beating the Knight that time. Here, I'll make a special save state just for you so you can try again.
I think it will come up at some point in Deltarune that there is not a lot of confrontation with you the characters too much. It's just because if they get stuck in a situation where you fight them, they're gonna fucking lose.
Determination has yet to be referenced directly, I believe. Although I heard some this might just be true that in the Japanese Miku song, Mew Mew or the ghost, or whatever, references determination in the Japanese word or something. So it's ooh, we're cooking, boys.
I do love that. Yeah, to really understand the deep lore, we got nerds out here examining the Japanese
because
it's the only Toby approved alternate language version of Deltarune. So, but he is the type of guy.
Hispanic, suffer Spanish speakers. You get nothing.
The point is, you can't be oh, it's just a weird translation thing. Toby is personally approving every damn line in that Japanese translation, so there's no way that if it's in there, it's canon. You know what I mean? Or have you seen?
Well, he said in interviews that he has like embarrassed himself with his Japanese speaking in the past. This is in like interviews he's done and stuff. So I think he might be fluffing the numbers a little bit. Maybe he's got some.
He doesn't personally translate every line. Just for the record, he has like another like 8-4 or whatever. But like I swear, there's no way he's not like personally approving. Especially if they come to him with like the edge case or the important like lore stuff, or he's like very specific about
there
this.
are imperfections.
Dude, he's so specific about stuff. He doesn't even let you buy merchandise of Lighteners, which is crazy. Well,
all I'm saying is Toby Fox is in the Japanese daily threads on 4chan, seething and coping and trying to get good, but he's scrambling and scraping at the bottom of the pile. You'll never be N1, Toby. You will never achieve it. Give up right now, buddy.
He's already getting to freaking hang out with, like, Sakurai, though. He won, even with his whatever his Japanese skills are. Definitely better than mine.
Dude, he's spilling his spaghetti all over the place trying to put together
I'm sure he is. I'm sure in his mind he's like,
stuff.
oh my god, I can't believe I embarrassed myself in front of,
Hey, we will address this again when we decide at the end of this episode, is Toby Fox an internet genius, yes or no? We will address this question later on in the program. We will get to it. Okay, guys, all right. We got to talk a little bit of lore here. There's a lot to get to. So, okay. 7 flowers, it's the flowers, they all come to life. Okay, cool. Forget them for a second. I want to talk about Asgore, the guy who did nothing wrong. This is the Asgore Dad Appreciation Chapter, and it is based and red-pilled. All right, something bad happened in the past with Asgore. We all knew that. So Toriel left him and doesn't live with his family. Something's bad. It's addressed in this chapter. Okay, he did something. Maybe he was involved with. He's been trying to prove his innocence, and this, even though like everyone already forgave him, is what we're told.
Right. Okay, this is new. This is actually really important. People were like, oh, he's directly responsible for deaths. He had deaths with a car as a meme or whatever. But like now,
apparently
it's like
not. Apparently not.
Deaths just disappeared or something. We don't even know what the something is, but that's obviously it.
Correct.
I'm worried about Asgore. He's fucking. I don't even know if we're gonna see him again. He's out there getting cock and ball tortured in the bunker with fucking Undyne or whatever.
He's
and like, okay, I'm worried we're not gonna see him because he got his character development where he's like, oh, I see how much the unwanted attention from Flowery is like how I'm doing it to Toriel or whatever. And now it's like, I'm now him getting character development is what makes me worried. But it is funny because people for some the stupid prophecy, people are like the field of pink and gold charred in Inferno of Jealousy or whatever the fuck. Flower Man trapped in asylum. People are like, this is going to be the incel Asgore chapter where he's just seething and he's raging about stuff, and we beat him up.
If anything, it's the Asgore cuck chapter where he's too apologetic to his wife. He's make her submit with biblical testimony and stuff. His aura, he did have high aura moments, it's funny, the first time we see him, he's wearing, like, the most lame outfit of all time, which is hilarious, because I was like, this is his Dark World getup, his, like, old college outfit. Was that the flowery shirt? The
flowery shirt or whatever. But then he gets the gold king armor, and then the part where he, like, opens the door and, like, kicks Chris out, but he's, like, half in shadow, and you can, like, see the outline of his fucking golden plate armor. It's like, holy shit, that was kind of sway. I fucking I was like, dude, are we gonna actually get to fight this guy? Although it doesn't make sense. There's no situation with Asgore be like punching and kicking Chris. You know what I mean? That's their kid.
The only Lightener we've ever fought is like Birdley, right? And I killed him, of course, right away. But I don't think.
I don't want to get too ahead of myself here, but okay, I never was placing a lot of huge stocks in the quote unquote aborted weird route being like super important. But like, I'm kind of curious now. I'm actually kind of curious now because like there's a million plot elements being like pointing to like that we're gonna have Noelle in the Dark Worlds again in Chapter 6. Like Susie being like, we need to tell Noelle about this. Blah, blah, blah. Plus, since Chapter 2, every, like, consumable item in the game has, like, text for Noelle eating it or whatever, you know what I mean? But just,
I didn't even know that.
Every single one that you can, and every piece of armor that she can equip, I think even the ones you can't equip, she has, like, lines sometimes about being like, I can't equip this.
Now, Tricky Toby might just be putting that there as a false flag. That's definitely possible.
Because we even there was so much unused Noelle stuff in 3 and 4, people are like, well, she's got to be playable again in Chapter 5. I mean, it's the festival. We're definitely going to get to play Noelle in the party again in Chapter 5. It didn't happen. So, but this is what I mean. It's entirely possible. This could also be a trick.
Toby is relying on the community to hack Noelle into future chapters. This is lore necessary stuff that he's expecting and demands to happen. Just this happened. He planned Undertale Yellow from Chapter 1.
This happened from Undertale. The way data miners cracked that game wide open. There used to be like a warning in there where Toby's like, please don't just like post sprite sheets online, or he's like, at least wait a while or something. And then people didn't listen, and so he's like, okay, so people are going to data mine my games. That's fine. They will. Now I'll put stuff in the game for data miners, like the unused voice in the code, the desk dialogue, and the only way only way you can prevent your game and all your secrets and all your lore from getting just instantly data mined and figured out is to release your game episodically with yearly installments. We can't, because we don't know what's going to happen in the future chapters yet. This is the only way to drive your fandom insane, you know what I mean? Have them theorize and speculate about this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Now, I'm not quite as forgiving. I don't personally think that the chapter strategy was like intended exclusively. That's
true. He has gone on record being like, originally he's like, I wanted to make chapter 1 and then like release the rest of the game, and then he put out 2 for free during COVID, and then but 3, 4, and 5 is all gonna be one package, guys, I swear. But then it was just 3 and 4. I think
again,
because of this, no, specifically because he wanted to get it on Switch 2 or some bullshit, which is fine. I'm like more early Deltarune for me. It almost would have been weird, right, to do 3, 4, and 5 back to back. I mean, it would have been weird in a bad way, but like the time between the chapters, I was trying to say this earlier, like that's part of Deltarune to me, you know what I mean? Like all this insane brain rot, like it definitely enhances the experience for me. Like I'm definitely more like, because I've been thinking about all this crap, and like, dude, okay, not to get on the Weird Route stuff yet, but the aborted Weird Route, like if we're gonna be able to take Noelle into the Dark World after she killed. People keep saying she killed Birdley. He's frozen and he's alive in the hospital. He's
alive.
He's technically alive. He might be like brain dead or something. But the point is, she's gonna have to cope with learn that she did that for real. Also, now it's looking like the aborted. I used to think we're just gonna get the Twisted Sword and the regular Weird Route. It'll be fine. We're gonna get Noelle back. We'll take the Thorn Ring off. We'll make the Twisted Sword. Now that doesn't really seem like that's gonna happen. Now it seems like the only way you can get the Twisted Sword is gonna be an aborted Weird Route in Chapter 2 before you even freeze Birdley to take the Thorn Ring, abort it, and then just hold it in your inventory.
Okay. So to get the Twisted Sword, you need, I believe, the pure crystal, correct?
Right. Which is theoretically we have. Yeah. I think Sham should be able to make that for us now that we have all 5 shadow crystals. Theoretically, if you have all 5 shadow crystals.
Is it specifically 5 shadow crystals? I assume there'd
it's
be
5.
7.
No. Sham says there's one left. He says there's one shadow crystal left at the end of chapter 4. So yes, no, we are ready. We have the ingredients for the pure crystal. I think.
Oh shit.
I know, that's what I mean, but I was like, we don't even get to go back to Castletown this chapter.
Yeah, of course.
Or we could, if Chris would go, Susie, can I just pop in there real quick to talk to the fucking cat? You know what I mean? Also, this is another thing, too. Okay, people for so long have been like, what is Ralsei? What is Ralsei? Because he's a Darkner, he's a physical object, but what is he? Why is he in every Dark World with us?
He's the plushie of Ralsei.
Okay,
that's what
people,
he is,
you probably know about this, Noni, right? People are like, he's the headband, right? The headband we see in the Chris flashbacks. Yep. But we see Ralsei with Susie in Castletown when Chris is not there at the end of chapter 5. So how could that be the case?
I don't know this. Noni, tell me what that is. What's this headband?
It like the headband that Chris had. Like the assumption was that Ralsei is that. Ralsei is weak.
That's why he's like a scarf or something, because he's a headband.
Okay.
And he's got the little horns. Okay, because when Chris was a little kid, there's dialogue when he talked to Toriel in like chapter 1 or 2, where he's like, "Oh, when you were a kid, you were like not upset that you were human and not a monster, but you were asking when would your horns grow in, and you're human, so not your horns." So they made a little horn headband with little pink horns that Chris would wear, and you see it in the flashback, the silhouetted flashback, where they're all in front of the TV. So it is a thing. They want you to know about this thing. And for basically up till now, that's just the sort of the assumption. But we don't know. Now there's all this crazy shit where Ralsei is actually a plantner, and he's a tree that has his roots under everything, and the roots extend into the depths of the Dark World. And that's why he's in every Dark World. And that's why that panel is called Roots. I don't know about all that.
Okay.
I don't know about maybe. I'm just saying, because it's very, I'm just saying, I think what Ralsei is very mysterious. I'm very curious, because I was also just like, yeah, sure, he's probably just the headband. But I'm a little less sure about that now after we see Ralsei and Susie in Castletown in chapter 5 credits with no Chris.
Hear me out. I think the implication of Ralsei, like even beyond the headband, at least for me, like playing like Deltarune so far, it's like he's so like related to Chris. You know what I mean? The way he exists, the way he acts, the way he fucking looks.
He's like a mirror of Asriel, and like in way Chris perceives his or Asriel's relation to Chris, and then like I don't know. It's just weird. That was the only reason I was like, maybe we want to see Asriel, just because we have seen Asriel. Ralsei is Asriel, but not literally. Or that was okay. That was one of the early theories. Asriel is dead, and Ralsei is the Dustner. You know what I mean? People had that theory before we even saw Gerson in fucking chapter 4.
Fair enough. I get it.
I don't know about that, though.
It might be the reverse, like, parallels with Undertale. Like, in Undertale, you're playing as, like, Frisk. Yeah, you're playing as Frisk, haunted, like, accompanied by, like, Kara, essentially. The funny dust, corpse, etc., etc. So, like, it's the reverse here, where it's like, no, you're the human, accompanied by the corpse of your, your fucking dead sibling. So it's like a parallel.
Right.
Okay, I've got a stupid theory. Maybe Ralsei is like the essence of darkness itself that has been anthropomorphized into a being. Because I'm sure, like, what else would be in every dark world? You know,
actually, I've seen some art lately of like Ralsei like turning into a Titan, and like Titan say or whatever. And it's like Ralsei's pure darkness actually makes more sense to me than like I could see something like that being the case.
It can't be the headband. It cannot be the headband because the
That's
headband
too
is a
easy.
physical thing that isn't everywhere.
Right.
So that doesn't make
and
sense.
Ralsei, they purposely cut it off where Ralsei was doing the explanation of the Charge Chapter 3 explaining to Susie and the viewers who were too stupid to realize that Darkners are like playing cards and laptops and stuff. Yeah. Ralsei was like, even I'm just a ... and then they get cut off. So we don't know. Toby doesn't want us to know is the point I'm saying. It's supposed to be a mysterious thing. Yet.
I think they're an object on Chris's person.
Right. People also used to say the knife.
Chapter 5 ending where Chris is not in the dark world and yet Ralsei is.
I'm serious. That's what I mean. I need to know more now. I used to be like, maybe it's just he's just an object. Who gives a fuck? But like now I'm curious. Now I'm like, maybe there is something about this Ralsei critter. I mean, it was already mysterious how he was.
Wait, maybe it's something that Susie is carrying. That's still possible.
Technically, that makes more sense.
But why would
I don't know.
Why would he look like Asriel though?
Yeah, there's too many Chris connections.
I have no idea.
I mean,
maybe
it's like
Susie has a relationship with Asriel as of yet unexplored and was given something by Asriel that she's been carrying with her. Maybe?
I don't think so. Like there are no hints. Like when you start chapter 1, like talking, like Susie just feels like, oh, like this is your like a new friendship between you two. There's no like, oh, Chris used to be like. When you meet Noelle and you meet Birdley, they both like reference you in the past as Chris. Yeah. Susie does not fucking do that.
Hey, I
Susie
just moved to town. Is that the lore?
Yes. Well, okay, she didn't just like she's not like it's not like day one of her being there, but like she's new to town.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So there's a lot of goofy shit. Also, this is the part that like it's related to like let's talk about Deltarune right at the end, but also just if we're just talking general lore stuff.
Yeah.
In Undertale, it did not because it's so short, it's so sweet, it's so fucking tight.
It's Kino. Yeah.
There was not a lot of time between like the conversations between you and Flowey. That explains, like, by the way, you do be time traveling. By the way, you do be, like, crashing the universe. By the way, you, the heart, are using determination to, like, fuck with reality. And, like, so far in Deltarune, there hasn't been, like, that moment yet to, like, fully, explain what the fuck you are, the heart. Like, what are you actually?
This is okay, but in this chapter, I just want to say all this stuff that was mentioned about. I was wandering back, found some papers, or whatever. It sounds like cyber, you know everything, dude. By the way, has anyone said a cyber's world, dude?
That like freaked me out because my name was Cyber when I played that, and I was like, what the fuck? Because my castle town was called Cyber Town, and then I got to Cyber's world. I was like, what is this crap? Dude, Toby made this chapter just for me. No,
he did. But okay, so the lore of like Asgore in the past, there was an accident, but some of these papers also reference like there's like a lab where like something crazy happened. This really feels like this is like the big lore behind everything, which could explain like Hearts and Dessa's disappearance and and they're like, so the night's been operating for like a long time, not just recently. So like, what does that infer about who it could be? So Carol stock's rising. Carol's been around for quite a while now doing who knows what. She's the mayor. She has political power. Carol bros. I'm just saying, don't count out the Carol bros.
It just ties back into like I think Asriel and Des were probably having like Dark World shenanigans or maybe something like that. Maybe not. Maybe they just got lost in the woods, followed the cat, went in the bunker. Some bad shit happened. We really don't know the specifics of the thing that happened, but like it was some bad shit.
Sure don't. It just we lack so much critical info that I'm like now like fully like parsing in Undertale, which was like. We got like the explanation about like what you are as the heart doing, and we also got like just explanation about like the soul, like the whole thing about like, oh, by the way, if a monster ever kills a human and absorbs their soul, they might as well be fucking God. They're like so.
Oh yeah, by the way, and that's another thing with the Chapter 5 secret boss with the two bodies in one thing. That was a huge thing in the lore of Undertale with Asriel and Chara in the same body when they were killing the humans or whatever, or going to kill the surface or whatever.
The
two
souls
in one body. They could have, but they didn't because of Asriel, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's two souls in one body. And soul, and maybe soul is not the right word because soul is a very specific thing with the red heart or whatever.
Yeah.
It's also just crazy the way we got it's not literally characterization for the fallen humans in Undertale, but we kind of got characterization for the fallen humans in Undertale via the flowers. Just because surely they have the same characteristics because of the the way their personalities mirror the items.
But again, in Undertale, there's like such a distinct difference that's made between the monster and the human, especially about like the soul stuff, about like, oh, only boss monster souls like last a little bit longer than usual. If something happens between a human soul and a monster soul, some fucking crazy shit happens. And like, it feels like all of it is just kind of missing from Deltarune. Just like...
Well, okay, help me out here. So there are Darkners, which are a separate thing that exist only in the Dark Worlds. Then there's Lightners, of which there are monsters and humans, of which we've seen at least one being Chris.
Yeah.
Correct?
Just Chris,
and
as far
only
as I know.
the only person, well, I guess the only heart we've ever seen is like you, who's maybe part or is possessing Chris in whatever way that turns out to work.
Yes.
Okay. So only Chris can seal the fountains? Because Chris has
only
a heart?
we can seal the fountains.
Right,
there's so much light imagery related to the heart and like the angel, you know what I mean? But
Right,
you are in that Chris can seal the fountains via us, you know, and technically Chris is the one who does it. But
Yeah, right.
it is interesting, yes. No, we have not seen any other art. We have not gotten any like crazy Lord of... Because you're right, the way they talk about determination or whatever in Undertale is interesting because it's fractured across the Flowey stuff with the save files, the Sans stuff with the timelines, and the True Lab stuff with like the heart and determination and the flowers. Whereas we still have not got the True Lab moment of Deltarune yet for sure.
No.
We got to get that sometime soon. And by the way, didn't the goth cat, whose name Catty, or you know, like the goth one? Another reference at the beginning to like the weird ritual that was done.
Yes,
that, like,
that's
summoned
lore
a demon.
between
Dude,
them.
That's got to be the heart. The heart is the demon that was summoned. It possessed
I feel like
Chris.
that has to be
That's
actually
gotta
kind
be
of important. I agree with you. Yes, there's talk about, you know, like Noni was saying, that Chris has a history with these people in Hometown, like Birdley and Noelle and Caddy, and what he used to do with with Caddy and Caddy and Azrael. And Des, I think they used to have a relationship too. Like they would hang out together as kids or whatever. I know. Obviously, everyone knows the Holiday family is super close. But anyways,
what was it? That because they're hanging out with Susie, the cat doesn't want to hang out with them anymore.
Yes. Okay. I swear I did not get this until this chapter. That I think Caddy is also lesbians for Noelle because she seemed really butthurt about them like holding hands and stuff. I thought she just didn't like Susie because she was scared of her.
I mean,
that was the vibe I got. That was also the vibe I got. She just in every other chapter, she's just been extremely hostile to Susie for quote unquote basically no reason. People also have had crazy theories of Jockington. Jockington's turning into a goner. Jockington's speech is degrading.
Jockington is the knight. Jockington sucks.
Jockington seemed pretty chill this chapter, apart from he grew the beard or whatever, which is like this part of the prophecy. But yeah, I'm not seeing. It's funny. People actually clocked instantly. I didn't even know this, but like people clocked instantly in chapter 1 which Lightner like members of the class are going to be important based on who gets a portrait, who gets a unique talking sound, and just stuff like that. You know what I mean? So people were instantly like, yeah, why is Birdley and Noelle? They're definitely important, and Jockington and Caddy are a little less important, and then everyone on the right side is basically like an Undertale reference, like Temmie or whatever, and the Monster Kid and the Snowdragon. Those characters are not actually important. They're basically just references. Or although I know maybe there will be. Oh no! Didn't people say that Ice Drake and the Monster Kid like disappeared this chapter or something? I didn't even notice that. But like, oh god, is that going to actually be relevant?
There is even more extra lore stuff in my brain, which I'm like, we go back to this whole like we don't really know like the real like what's the status of the world between quote unquote monsters and humans like that because like
right. Okay, you're right.
How did Chris even get here? How did Chris even arrive at this place living with
people were shitting their pants over Susie having blood too. Blood used to be such a huge like that's
that,
humans. Only
honestly,
humans have blood. Only humans have blood. But then Susie had blood for real.
What's up with that?
Now there's a million Susie's half human, which that doesn't make any sense. That's fucking stupid. Susie's a monster. But like
blood implies determination on some level.
Right.
Like
yes, it's red. It's the same color. That's true. Exactly. Yes.
Okay, so our Sans bros, are we back to the Sans ate ketchup at the end of the Sans fight, and that's why?
That's
yes, exactly. Exactly right. People
vague.
went crazy about this blood versus dust thing. It's funny because dust is still canon. And people are also having this little bit of like going insane analyzing because in Undertale there's a very specific state where monsters are quote unquote fallen down where they're almost dead but they're not dead, and then they said Rudy fell down, which could literally mean he just fell down, but it could also mean he's in a state near death. He's at least clearly invoking that language.
I agree. I think
also,
that's definitely deliberate.
It just souls, determination, like a bleeding, like more physical matters. Like when they talk about themselves, like Undyne, you know, is like the actual example we see of like because she's so fucking based, so I guess literally built different.
She backs the blue, baby.
Yeah, Undyne the Undying. It was actually such a hype moment.
Undyne. She's like the only one.
Actually,
like,
her death on a neutral route is also hype as fuck. Like it's sad, but it's hype.
Great.
She's just a sick ass character.
She's fucking based. She's fucking based. But now, like, we play Deltarune, and like Chris you know, people are like, oh, Chris, you're weird because you're like kind of creepy and fucking goofy like that sometimes.
Yeah.
But also like nobody's like treating it as a big deal that you're around. Which implies like there are.
Yeah, that's always the thing.
Yeah.
There's books in the library about how to raise a human. So humans are like a thing that exists. Humans are not like some insane. Well, it's funny because I still remember being, I don't know if you call this a cock tease, but when you first boot up Deltarune survey program, you don't even know what it is. And then all of a sudden you see a human living with Toriel on the surface. This is Undertale 2. It's clearly trying to like give you that imagery of like, it has a lot of pacifist ending imagery in Hometown. Although the more we play Hometown, the more fucked up and weird it gets and kind of creepy. But like,
indeed,
I don't know. It's definitely just
Chris's lore, though.
deliberate.
Chris is clearly again meant to be like Schrodinger's character.
Yeah, they're adopted.
Which, like, collapses into. Well, are they good? Are they evil? They're clearly adopted. They can't be biologically the son of the goat people.
I'm curious about the circumstances of that, and he's really rarely come up, like you pointed out.
The fact that people aren't...
Are they important?
I don't know. That's the question. And again, that it is Schrodinger's lore importance. As Toby gives us more information, it will become clear how much of this mattered or didn't matter. And personally, I do find this quite frustrating to not know how much... Like, so much of this could be a complete waste of time. None of it's going anywhere. And it's just a dead end. And I know it's still fun for people. So, like, that's cool.
We have to have faith in Toby that he'll
do have
nail
faith
a landing.
In many ways.
Yeah, it can be hard to like, you know, when some of this stuff is so vague that like speculating on it just like years of crafting theories can make you go insane. And this is also fandom psychosis where people get too attached to their theories. Then Toby will do it. He's doing his own thing, and the chapter comes out. And it's not exactly like how they predicted in their head, so they hate it. But that's all.
But it's just that the Gaster shit is like actually real. It's not
real.
It seems
it's real and it's
made
important.
up, but it's real lore. It matters.
It's interesting because you have to
Deltarune.
It's in Deltarune. Okay, do we have time to go into device theory? Surely you know all about this, Noni, and like the way that certain files are named in the game. It's implied that like Gaster.
Okay, walk me through this because I don't know what you're talking about.
Saber, you have to pop
okay,
off.
I'll try and explain this. I know people in the chat I keep calling the comment section chat. People in the comment section are already like, he talks too fast. Turn this part down to 0.75 and shut the fuck up about it. All right.
Done.
But basically, yes. So surely you've seen when it was brand new and still when Deltarune chapters drop, Toby, the official Undertale account, changes the name to 6 black things, and the point is Gaster. It's fucking Gaster talking to you on the Undertale Twitter account.
What changes? What's changing here? I'm trying to follow.
The username of the Twitter account for Undertale @Undertale changes to 6 black squares. Gotcha. And Gaster posts. It's Gaster posting when chapters drop. You can tell it's Gaster because it's all caps. That's how he talked in Wingdings in Entry 17. And just Gaster now has a catchphrase. Anytime anyone says something is very, very interesting, that's a fucking Gaster reference. And he says it all the time.
It's like how proceed. Proceed is the weird root keyword.
Right. So there's certain key phrases. The point is, so Gaster has created some kind of device that can take a human being soul and connect it to the world of Deltarune. And everything related to the Goner Maker sequence at the beginning of chapter 1 where you make that weird grayscale thing. All the files related to that have a different kind of naming scheme in the files, all capital letters and stuff like that. Versus like every other like in-game sprite is just like normal stuff. But again, there's the weird exceptions like image_friend, which is like this weird cat face thing that we don't even know anything about still, but it's very mysterious and it's very important. But yes, the point is Gaster is also the one, he talks to you with the glowing text where he says, "Are we connected?" at the beginning of the and he talks to you when you die a bunch of the night in chapter 3, and he talks to you after the credits in chapter 4. As far as I know, there's only times Gaster will talk to you. But that's definitely Gaster. Gaster is definitely important. And it's just interesting to think because this doesn't, some people use this as proof against Gaster, but like this is not proof against Gaster, which is that you can like play through all of Undertale and then play through all of Deltarune and not know who Gaster is because he's not name dropped that often. Like it relies on like certain fun events being triggered for you in Undertale. It's really one of those like you have to or you have to data mine and like know about community stuff to know about Gaster really. And Toby knows about this now though. I don't think people are like, well, you know, the average viewer, people have such little
Toby knows the people are making lore videos about Gaster. He has seen them, I guarantee it.
Exactly. People have such little like faith in the average player that they don't even trust people to know who Des is, you know what I mean? Let alone Gaster. And we've had mandatory Des name drops in like every chapter since chapter 2, you know what I mean? And it is subtle, it is like if you don't pay attention. But all this stuff with fucking Asgore now in this one, like the mysterious disappearance, even the dumb fuck normies who play every chapter, who wait until the game's pulled out and play all chapters in a row are gonna be like, wait a minute, something's going on here, and what's up with Noelle's sister in that weird room? You know what I mean? Like you can't not know about Des at this point. But like even then people are like, oh, that's too subtle. The night can't be Des because people aren't gonna know who Des is. But like the point is
I disagree with that totally.
Yeah. But the Gaster stuff is like Yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that, but he's real and he's in the game.
I gotta push back though. I gotta push back, but on one thing, which is like, oh, you can play all of Undertale and Deltarune and not know the Gaster stuff. That is 100% true for Undertale. Gaster is like, hey, summary, and I know people would be so fucking mad because there's 7-hour lore videos about Gaster. It's just from Undertale. Yeah. Here's the thing, lads. Who's Gaster? He's the royal scientist. He fucking, jerked off science so hard he exploded across time and space, and he took away some people with him. That's about it. That is all the actual info in Undertale. It's like, he's a royal scientist. He fucking, he max jaxed so hard. He exploded to the digital circus. And that was it.
He abstracted across time and space.
He abstracted.
There's weird. We only know weird things, and we don't even know how literal some of his followers are being. Because someone says he fell into his creation. We don't even know what that means exactly.
Yeah, which creation?
Yeah, what is? People used to think they mean the big thing in the core. Yeah, people thought the core, and like maybe, but like, anyways, but now you can't deny, since basically early on people kind of figured out Deltarune is a prequel to Undertale because of all the shit with Sans. And the mysterious thing in his the machine in his basement or laboratory, it's a laboratory, that it's really hard to find, or I would say it's actually pretty hard to casually come across the stuff with Sans' laboratory. And the Gonnermaker stuff, you can talk to this one clam girl who goes gray and says you'll meet Susie soon. And then if you do that, there's new dialogue in Sans' lab where you find a piece of paper with 3 poorly drawn people on it. And people for years are like, what does this mean? Oh, and it says don't forget. 3 poorly drawn people, and it says don't forget, which is like the leitmotif of all of Deltarune. And then this chapter, one of the only things you have to do on the neutral route and the weird route is you have to talk to Sans and give him a drawing of, or Susie gives him a drawing of, there's a little bit of discrepancy where some people think she draws 4 people on the regular route and 3 people on the weird route. So it's like, oh,
that's what I heard.
The weird route is actually definitely the real canon one, which could make sense to me because I feel like the weird route shit is going to get so fucked up, the timelines get so fucking glitched out that the world's just going to like implode. And then like, but this is a whole other thing too where people are like, it's not that Hometown isn't real and that it's a complete fabrication, but like, since Deltarune has started, it is now cut off from the rest of the world. And there's weird little references to the Queen says the internet's been down for a week, and we haven't seen anyone come in or out of town. That's the only other reason I was a little skeptical about Azrael.
Right?
That's what I mean. I know if Azrael comes in from out of town, that completely deconfirms that theory, but we haven't seen anything to that effect.
And at the weird route at the end of chapter 5, they're kind of trying to breach the boundaries of the world they're in. So
right. And that's even more Gaster proof at the end of the Weird Route Chapter 5 where the insert Chapter 7 side B. That's some kind of weird device that Gaster's looking at or something. I don't know. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
We'll talk more about the Weird Route later. I want to definitely discuss that a little bit.
But I just want to say, Gaster is fully relevant for Deltarune. That's how it starts. That's how it's spooky. It's the setup program. It's like, it's meant to be that. Here's the problem, though. I wanted to, like, oh, let's save this for the end. I want to fucking do it now. It feels like fucking Deltarune's story is piecemealed, like it's the Gaster shit from Undertale. Like, it feels like we're experiencing that through that lens of, like, hints and weird shit and side tangents and, like, hacking the codes to, like, figure out the real info or real lore. And I'm comparing it to Undertale, which was, like, pretty fucking cutthroat what's happening in Undertale. Pretty, like, here is what's happening. Here is what you need to do. Here is the consequences. In Deltarune, it all feels like Gaster lore. It all feels like
I see in Undertale
mysterious.
You can play both routes, or fuck, even just the pacified route, and have a great time, and you never even need to know about Gaster. He's just a cool extra thing that's like super cool and mysterious. Whereas, yes, he will be so relevant to Deltarune that it's just like you do have to know about him, or whatever. And this is what I was trying to say earlier, which is like, will this Gaster hit hard for normies who are going to play the whole game, all 7 chapters in a row, and they're just get
hard to say.
Here's the thing: the more we go on, Gaster is 100% important. He's 100% real. He's 100% character. He's 100% facilitating a lot of important stuff. I still don't even think in the normal, at least, quote unquote, ending, we're gonna like meet Gaster or, God forbid, fight Gaster. I just don't think Toby would ever do that. You know what I mean? We might read some journal entries or some shit by him or something, but like, Gaster's just too mysterious for that.
Maybe he'll be the fans of this game. Maybe he'll be the guy that, like, for the real people that go and do everything and, like, find every piece, you will, like, eventually be able to discover, like, the Gaster experiments or, like, whatever the fuck.
This is the new hot new theory that's going around right now, which is that, the whole thing about Undertale, about Deltarune, not Undertale, is that one ending, quote unquote, one ending, and all the whatever that means. How could that even be possible?
Okay,
we'll have the same.
But I just want to address this right now. Yeah, go on.
I just want to say, but maybe there's a third route. Maybe there's a third route. Maybe it's the aborted weird route and the twisted sword. You do some crazy game-breaking shit, and maybe that like the only way you can actually like really fuck with Gaster is to like really fucking break the game or something. You know what I mean?
Okay, for the record, of course, I understand, but On the website, I checked it again today in preparation for this. For
one ending
4
question
years
mark.
now,
Yes.
it has said one ending ... question mark. It will not be just one blanket ending.
It's
will
not
be
even
differences.
possible anymore. It's literally
not possible.
There is no
It hasn't
way
been
the
possible since
weird
chapter
route
2.
could possibly have the quote-unquote same ending. And even if
Correct.
it does, even if you could play the exact same cutscene, it would mean something completely different. It's like the story
would also
leading
be
up to
shit.
it
It would
is
be
so different.
shit.
It doesn't
Yes.
make it. Okay, it will have. Okay, here's the thing. Deltarune will have one ending in the sense that whatever happens, it will fit within the confines of the vague prophecy. Because, okay, remember this. Undertale, if you only not counting the neutral routes, the genocide route and the true pacifist route had the same ending. If you read the prophecy, the angel comes down and it empties the underground. That happens in both routes. It's going to be some shit like that.
So is it like, yes, the general vibe, the prophecy will come true in a sense, probably, and then, but there will be nuance. There will be nuance, like all the nuance there is in the various neutral endings of Undertale. Or, you know, yeah, like you said, it comes true in different ways, and it'll be up to you to determine what way that happens. And also, let's not ignore the massive motif of, like, changing fate, which you kind of seem to be literally doing in the weird route already. But, so, yeah, so things
Think about
aren't-
this. One of the first things Susie says to you is, your choices don't matter. Do you really think the final thesis
no
of this game is
way-
Toby looking at the camera and going, actually, your choices don't matter. Bye. No, it's
the
going to be
most
like...
clear Chekhov's gun of all time. Yeah.
What, you're telling me that your choices don't matter in the same game as like the fucking most Tumblr, like hope core base? That would be the fucking finale? Doubt. Huge doubt.
There could be some crazy fucked up weird bittersweet ending, but like it's not going to be doomery about it, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like your choices obviously matter. Like, I mean, they already matter. The weird, like, whether you're doing the weird or not, that matters. Like,
well, it
that's
matters
so
if I
different.
turn off if I hold the escape key, I win. I have made a difference in the.
That was
playing out of this
people
game.
would say that about, dude, I'm a good person because I quit the fucking genocide route or whatever. That if that's your ending to the genocide route, that's
Fair
fine,
enough.
dude.
Fair enough.
You know what? You know what I mean?
Also, I would like to point out that fate doesn't matter. Choices won't matter. You can't change anything. Guys, gamers, that was literally Flowey's whole shtick in Undertale. That was literally like, whatever you do, you ain't escaping this sequence of events. And like Azrael, when Azrael becomes God, he's like, I am God. What are we gonna do now? You can fight me forever, but I'm literally God. Shrug emoji.
You just outlast.
I love
You get
that Azrael
psychic
shrug.
victory.
It is crazy though that like this chapter, the ending is a little ominous. The way Flowery was literally fighting for a completely just cause with the power of friendship on his side,
Dude,
and we just
I wanna
kicked his
talk
ass
about-
anyways.
Dude, okay, let's just analyze for a quick question. This is one of the main things I wanted to discuss on here. Okay, we get to the ending. They're like, okay, so to be clear, dark fountains are dangerous. We can't have a lot of them. That'll like end the world. Now that being said, ours is really important
We're
to
allowed
us.
to have
and
ours, 'cause our
we
friends are
have
there.
ours, but
Right.
you here in this world having yours, ooh, that's like making it more dangerous.
What even
And
was
Flowey's
the
like,
full justification?
why?
Is we can't have people stumbling into the dark world or some bullshit like that, which is like just like
No one's gonna open
nobody
the
stumbled
closet
into the
in the
empty
fucking
classroom. I
school.
know it's an
No one-
unused classroom, but like they didn't even put a sign on the door that says like "Don't come in here." You know what I mean?
Okay,
I
so
guess
the point
anybody
is,
can stumble in. Also, the
Right?
fact that, like, okay, to be fair to them, this is some lampshading. This is some lampshading just to have the conflict in the plot. But like, hey,
Well, we
if
can't
there's,
move the
like-
flowers.
Yeah, if you have like this alternate dimension, and it's like, hey, if we don't close it and you have it, the apocalypse might start. So you know.
pretty
big deal.
Maybe look, right? It was very heavily like hinted and implied with dialogue and the uncomfortable glances and commentary from the characters that like, yeah, you're arbitrarily deciding your dark world matters and this flower one does not matter. And this does basically kill
They were fighting for
everyone
their
in
lives.
this dark world. They are fighting for their lives, and they make very good arguments why they should get to live. And there's a little bit of a cope that's like, we flowers were only meant to live for a day anyway, so I guess it's okay. But like, that's pure cope. It's totally arbitrary.
Well, okay, it's funny. Okay, I'm glad.
And then they call themselves heroes right after this, which I think was fucked
the
up.
heroes
but,
of the prophecy. It is like I understand that don't misinterpret me here. It's good that Flowery quote unquote died, just because it's good to have stakes in your story and like every single fucking antagonist coming to just join your fucking dark your world in the classroom to hang out and be best friends with. Like at a certain point, the stakes need to get raised a little bit. Flowery getting cut in half was good. Even then, he's still quote unquote alive in the light world because they like taped them together.
A little bit, yeah.
I know. I think it's fine. That's like a fine enough middle ground for me where he quote unquote died, and I don't think we're gonna see these flowers again. Even though it's like, you know, they should just be like, hey Asgore, let's just fucking do a dark fountain this Sunday just to hang out with Flowery again. You know
so
what I mean?
Flowery can get chopped in half, put back together, but he can't be moved a couple feet down the road.
Also, okay, here's the thing: they have to be taken care of every single day, or they're gonna die. Well, Asgore just got kidnapped; they're all gonna die tomorrow.
Susie says, "I'll take care of it." Susie's gonna take care of it.
Cybershell. When Deltarune, the full game, comes out in like 3 years, and we're back again with this podcast, I expect my $100 readers when we see Flowery back.
You know what?
Think that Flowery's dead.
I could see that. Honestly,
coming back. Yeah.
Well, I could see him becoming back. Like they deliberately put the thing where we tape the flower together. He'll survive or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's supposed to read like a death scene. But you're right. He's not dead, so the door is open.
Yeah, the door. It's gonna be said. The whole town's gonna get subsumed in darkness.
Right. The roaring is gonna happen. That's part of the prophecy. The roaring is going to happen. So that was people were speculating that this chapter everyone knew the flower shop was gonna be a thing, but like, dude, what if the festival is a dark world? Like the whole town is a dark world or whatever.
That would have been cool.
That could be what like. Okay, Toby has barely said anything about 6 and 7. Publicly, but like one of the only things, chapter 6-7 theory when he releases both of them, people have been speculating that he might do it. I'm not fully convinced on that anymore, just because like Toby likes to take his time or whatever. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But one of the only things he said about chapter 6 is like, oh, this chapter should be like easier to work on, and like that is so honest to me. Like, what does that even mean? But he was saying, it's not even outside the realm of possibility. He's just giving up. It's not outside the realm of possibility that they will be working on chapter 7 assets before the end of this year.
Sure.
Which is crazy to think about.
I have an idea. I think 6, it has to happen. It just has to happen. I think 6 is the chapter you go back and explore the previous locations again. Or like something along those lines. Okay. So like they already have most of the assets, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd be open to it.
I was thinking, I was like, is he gonna be some bullshit? You go in the bunker and then you go in the bunker and it's just Undertale in there. So it's just like you just go through. Like he had to get. Gaster's just stealing all his favorite characters from Undertale to recreate Undertale in the bunker.
Let's address that real quick. That we get the password for the thing, which by the way, coincidentally, is the release date.
The release date of Undertale. Extremely ominous, right?
Now it says 1990.
Yeah. That's just because Toby's a fucking Undertale or
he's an old cringe lord. He loves his 90s nostalgia or whatever. But,
but that's actually super fucking.
We're going.
That's super interesting. The bunker is so fucking like I need to know what's in that fucking bunker. Man, they've been teasing. I've since literally not as explicitly as a flower shop, but that bunker has been there the whole time. And the bunker literally also makes fucking gaster noises. By the way, it literally makes gaster noises if you speak. They're slowed down 666%, I think, which is the gaster number. That's what I mean. Number. There's so much gaster shit in this game. It's crazy.
Murder this man. If we're just in the theory of like high level speculations, to just like Cybershell, the thing you mentioned, I like 100%, like truly convinced, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that this is a prequel to Undertale. Like in all things,
it has to
names.
Be. Like it was already like so hinted at with this fucking Sans drawing. Like, imagine if it's not at this point. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Toby? Why would you try so hard to make me think it is a prequel if it's not?
Does that mean that is this like just Sans hopping dimensions and this like?
That's the scary part where it's like, how did he get there and what does that mean? And like, what is like that's what it feels like. It feels like the ending of Deltarune could be that no matter what, the world of Deltarune gets like collapsed in itself, but it's like a JoJo Part 6 ending where everyone's soul gets to like come back.
Could be like one of the beloved games by Toby. It could be like Mother 3's ending, where the world is subsumed in darkness.
Yeah, Mother 3 is about pulling 7 dark like needles or whatever with like big, under stealing 7.
A little bit of some similarities here, I think.
Right, man, the whole world goes dark at the end, but it's still happy, sort of. Mother 3 is a weird ending.
I would assume the ending of Deltarune would like end in like this big fuck you collapse of the universe. This probably like what changes the magic system, or like why like human souls are so fucking insane in Undertale. Because like even when I was playing Undertale, I was like, it was so weird to be like, yeah, dude, the humans like the power level is so off the charts. You know what I mean?
That's a funny subversion in and of itself, that these giant like monsters are not as powerful as like a regular ass bitch ass human.
And one of them is specifically like, oh, if you have determination, you can like affect causality of reality, which is like that sounds fucking insane. And the
it's
reason,
funny.
like,
you never see that in like any other kind of media. Like the only way you can really explore that to its full extent would be a video game.
Yeah, video games. Yep. Yeah. So I feel like Deltarune will end with like the justification of like why that's the case, and then we're gonna like yeah, and then, Susie's lost because, if you, in Undertale, you meet the fucking Ganos and like, yeah, Susie's lost. It is what it is.
Lost.
Moving on. And I think in Deltarune, we're going to hit that point, and then we're going to get an extra secret chapter where we actually get to, rescue Susie.
It's going to be Hope Core. It's going to be hope-filled and Hope Core.
It will.
100%.
Of course it will. Yeah.
But no, just to add to the more prequel proof, explicitly when, I think this was the FAQ when Deltarune Chapter 1 came out, which was like, so Toby was very explicit. He's like, this is not or I don't know if he says this is not a sequel, but he says, whatever happened to your characters at the end of Undertale, whatever happy ending or whatever ending you left them in, they're safe. That ending won't be affected by this. So like, you know what I mean? There's no way that this has to be there's no way that this could be the sequel to Undertale. That has to be the prequel if it's related. Or what he says is a parallel story, which is like, that's very sort of ominous in its own way.
Also, there is the asterisk, and honestly, even more proof of like Sans, because Sans knows who the fuck you are. Sans is aware that you have some history, like he's aware of you the same way he was aware of you in Undertale. And
canonically, the soul who is playing Deltarune canonically has played Undertale, because one of the first things you can say to Sans is, "Oh, it's so great to see you again." And he's like, "Well, that's funny because I never met you before," or whatever. But and the FAQ literally explicitly says this is a game for people who have beaten Undertale. Yeah. And when you play, and he wanted to put a thing in the store when you launched Deltarune and say, "Hey, you're supposed to play this. You're supposed to play Undertale first. Do you want to link to the store page for Undertale?" But he literally was not allowed to put that in because that counts as like a microtransaction or some bullshit like that. But the point is, there's a lot of people out there who are like, "Oh, I haven't even played Undertale. I'm just gonna play Deltarune." That's fine. You can watch Better Call Saul before watching Breaking Bad. That's fine. But you're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
very true. Very true.
Again, dude, Better Call Saul is such a good example because the ending of Better Call Saul is literally set after fucking Breaking Bad. It's
right. Yes,
it's
exactly.
Both
we're gonna get the black and white
truly
Gene.
We're
gonna get Chris working at fucking Cinnabon or whatever.
Yeah, he's a manager.
Also,
at
obviously, one of the biggest lingering mysteries. Deltarune is the payoff to the Gaster's debacle, whatever the fuck. Hey, one of the lingering real mysteries in Undertale was the fucking Sans machine. You know what I mean? What is Sans trying to make? What is he trying to do? You look in the drawer, there's like a sentimental image of like, don't forget. Which is like, it implies he is gonna do something to help at some point.
Some shit's, because Sans is so mysterious in his own, like, the only reason we even know that, well, not the only reason we know they have a connection, but like you know how Sans has his epic goat head attacks, but if you look in the files, those guns are called Gaster Blasters.
Yes,
so it's like,
indeed.
Come on, there's a connection between these guys, and so
and
Sans is obviously important.
Sans and Gaster's
this is also a thing too. You have to imagine.
Yeah.
Technically, the end of Chapter 4 is the first time you have to see Sans. You can just ignore him. No person who ever played Undertale would not talk to Sans. But it's technically possible. So sometimes you have to consider what are like the mandatory events that like you have to Joe Schmo, the 6-year-old playing the game, or just the king of normies or whatever. Like you have to see Rudy. Rudy is quite important at this point. Like, or you actually can ignore him in the hospital, but like he's important. You know what I mean? Like you have to know who Rudy is or whatever. Like, so it's just stuff like that, where it's like, Sans now is a mandatory character you have to see him with Toriel, you have to do the ice cream thing with him. Sans is important. I don't know about how many other people in the light, I don't know how much more important Undyne and Asgore are going to be other than, like, we have to save their asses or whatever. I would love to have more screen time with them. I'd love to, but I'm not counting on it.
They become plot devices, which is fine. It's nothing wrong with being a plot device. But now that we don't know much about IND, but it doesn't really matter. We need to save them. They're being kidnapped for some reason, and these are like older characters. It's got something to do with
we still don't know what the fuck
the
the Knight is even trying to do. Like, you know what I mean? Correct. If they just wanted to cause the roaring, I feel like just do it. You know what I mean? We've seen them.
We don't know what we're trying to do.
Right? Yeah. We don't even know what our main playable character Chris is doing. Who they're aligned with, and like what their goals are.
Protect the status quo. I love protecting the status quo. I'm all about it. It's my favorite thing to do in every video game.
I would like to point out two things about Undertale, which, like, again, because it's so short, it's so sweet, it's so fucking tight. It's kind of like, if you think about it, like actual sequential events, Sans isn't relevant for most of Undertale until, like, the cafe
Especially if you just do a pacifist route, like, you never even fight him. He's just a cool guy. There are some unavoidable things with him, but you're right, he's actually not, like, as important. If you only knew about Undertale through fandom, like, exposure, you'd think Sans is the main character.
Yep. Like, in actual game Undertale, like, even if you're doing the pacifist route, a couple of important scenes, there's, like, the cafe scene, where he's, like, he gives you this, like, weird meta talk, like, this, like, before the finale of the game, and then you meet him in the Judgment Hall, where he's like, cool, you didn't do anything bad, or cool, you did some things bad, or whatever, and then he moves on, and he lets it play out. The only actual time you get, like, insane relevant lore is if you fight him, where he just explains the shtick of what's happening. And he's like, okay, but after telling you all of this, why am I explaining it now? Because if you went, it's Jover. It's actually Jover for whatever reason. You getting past me means the end, TM.
So that means, yeah, obviously he has to do something at that point. This is like the critical mission that the entire world depends on this now. So, yeah, it makes me wonder, when we're talking about, like, how much of this is going to affect the story of Deltarune, if it is in fact a prequel or, you know, whatever else, parallel universe, whatever it exactly turns out to be, like, this lore is not known by, like, literally every person that's played the game. Probably a relatively small minority. I mean, not that small, but still, you know, probably less than 50%. But the thing is...
Don't underestimate the amount of normies out there.
Well, okay, that's fair, but we have to analyze, even if that was true and it was... Like, the person making the game, Toby Fox, and, like, who does he design the game for? And the games are clearly... Like, he's a commercially viable guy. He wants it to sell copies and all that good stuff. But, like, I do think that while he wants the game to be accessible and playable to the people that just dip in and don't pay a ton of attention, because that is technically most players, he definitely wants to give, like, the thorough, deep experience to the people that put in the effort, like all the kind of games that he loves. And that's always been the way he's done things up to this point. And he consistently impresses with, like, deep lore beyond what people would ever expect someone to generally put in a game like this. And so that's what makes him, like, different. And so is it, like, likely that we find Gast or whatever? Honestly, yeah, I think it's reasonably likely it does, in fact, manifest in some form or another in, like, the main game.
I completely agree with you in the sense that Gaster is... Noni's completely correct. Gaster is 100% real. He's 100% relevant. Gaster deniers will be on suicide watch by the end of Chapter 7. I'm still skeptical we're going to fight him or even truly see him on the normal... Because you have to remember... Because, like you were just saying, I completely agree. He's not making the game for Joe Schmo who doesn't fucking read any flavor text. He's making the game for people who inspect every object 100 times. But he still wants to have, like, a quote-unquote normal, satisfying ending that'll mostly be about, like, the Knight, Des, Asgore, Chris, whatever, this and that. But it will get weird in meta. It will get weird in meta. You can't... Toby's making the game, guys. It's not gonna not get weird in meta. You know what I mean?
If you push the game far enough, I think he will reward you.
The man built his own creepypasta into the fucking game, okay?
Yeah.
Also, to be, like, again, just to, like, point some stuff out, because it's like, I feel like the more time passes, people, like, build this mythology in their head about how it was. But, like, I'm gonna, like, stand on this pretty firmly. Sure, you can think about Undertale, but, like, damn, weird experience, all these, like, fucking meta-narratives, aspects, or whatever, but, like, lads... There is a section before you, like, you know, you get the true ender from Flowey, which is literally, you walk down a corridor and literally read lore. Literally read, here is what's going on. Here is the experiments. Here is what determination is. It's explained so succinctly in, like, a fucking hallway. It's like, you can't...
That's what makes it fun, is that it's diegetic in the universe. So, like, it's not like just some, like, breaking the fourth wall, looking at the viewer and winking and nodding. Like, it makes sense to the characters, which is why it hits so hard, you know what I mean? All that stuff about, like, Sans. Maybe Sans doesn't know about save files, but he knows about fucking timelines and, like, resetting.
Yeah, he knows the diegetic version of these things in his universe.
I'm, like, trying to imagine a meeting with Gaster in the game, and I'm like, well, yeah, you meet him, and and then he's like, yeah, scientist, did this thing, universe explode, I jaxed so hard, I had to fuck Pomni, guys, I had to get to Pomni, I had to. And it's like, yeah, that's a scene, you know, it's like 30 minutes, 20 minutes of dialogue, we did it. It ain't impossible, or probably difficult even.
Chapter 7 of Deltarune will be episode, 10 of The Amazing Digital Circus. They will be one and the same property, as a matter of fact. Yeah, it's gonna be epic. Well, shit. I mean, I wanted to mention, I did want to talk, like, a little bit more about the weird route, just, like, generally speaking, and how freaking crazy it is. And I gotta say, guys, I gotta call out Toby here. I do think that this has cemented how tragically heterophobic Tricky Toby truly is. I cannot believe he's done it yet again. Okay, lesbian dates all over the place. My boy Birdley getting shat on left, right, and center. And the tragic heterosexual relationship between my Chris, who obviously is a Giga Chad American male just like me, trying just to have an innocent relationship with Noelle. Nothing weird going on here whatsoever. And we, like, drown ourselves and literally kill ourselves rather than let me and my sweet waifu Noelle have our life together. Toby, Please
Fucking
stop being
base.
so cruel against my
So
people.
base.
How could he do this to me?
It's so
I'm on
base.
suicide watch right now about this.
What the fuck does it insert chapter 7 side B even mean? Like, it's crazy that the idea that like we're not going to be able to continue the weird route in chapter 6. Like, it's just gonna be. That's why I'm more interested in this aborted weird route shot, because we are gonna be able to get that twisted sword.
Quick
so what does
bro
that mean?
check-in. Wasn't like the weird route like not even really relevant for like chapter 3? It kind of skipped chapter 3,
it was only
right?
it was really relevant in the sense that it was majorly hinted at and paralleled with the sword route, but like technically the weird route is not actually relevant in chapter 3. It's funny because part of my brain, part of the the chapter 5 weird route scenes were amazing. The hauntingly exploring the festival after hours with Susie. Chris has zero dialogue the entire time, which is so weird and creepy. And the lake scene, amazing. I will say,
lake scene
like,
was great. That's
it's funny, and I understand that, like, it's like, how could you do the lake scene and then like, oh, now let's just go into the flower world, guys, and have a fun adventure? Like, you couldn't, like, obviously, like, even a version where they don't drown themselves. I'm just saying, like,
I think it was the right move.
The tone of the game has diverged so much that like they just can't be on parallel tracks the same way anymore. But I will say, like,
they're sort of the real
craving
game, and then
a little
the
more
weird route.
weird route gameplay content in the sense that in chapter 2, the closest we got to a different kind of boss fight was we got to do the Chris versus Spamton Neo solo 1v1, which was pretty cool. We have not had any other weird route exclusive fights, but I'm confident that whatever the fuck is happening at the end of it, we're gonna get some cool shit.
This is kind of something I was going to say later, but I did want to say that, like, so I played the weird route. I started it in chapter 2. I did it on a different copy of Deltarune, and I then, like, bought the Steam one later. And as I was sitting at my save files, and I was like, okay, I notice I only have completed saves of, like, the good route. I have, like, Nate, and then I had Evil Nate, and I think I might have made, like, Weird Nate or something for the 3 save files that I'm trying to play through all the way. But I didn't have Evil Nate on this one. So, like, the idea of starting over and playing all this all the way from the start through, like, 4 chapters to get... I could not bring myself to do it.
I
so
totally
I just
get
started
that.
chapter
And
5.
that's sort of why I understand... Well, yeah, first of all, yes, you can have the... Like, you can't have, like, start a new... weird route save exactly, but like you can at least technically you can start at chapter 2. I will say I had to do this just because I had some time before the game came out, and I also played the weird route on the fucking Switch version, and then I was like, I want it on my PC too. I'm just that kind of guy. If you are holding the button to skip all the dialogue, which I did. Deltarune is a remarkably short game, but like if you're talking about just the pure gameplay, not that I don't even mean that as an insult because I like the gameplay and stuff, but it is really
this is
one
a
of those...
good thing. This is good.
Yeah,
I don't mind. This is not bad.
I like
at all.
it's nice, breezy, not tons of bullshit padding and like tons and tons of pointless encounters. But I do agree with you. Having to like play the whole game again is a little.
So
kind of
this is just to say that like I kind of felt like I watched a YouTube video of the weird route.
You weren't missing like an exclusive weird route boss fight or anything this time. So I think it's actually if there was ever this was ever the version to watch on. Although I will say having to actually mash the proceed button because you actually had to mash it. Like if you let it go for a few more frames, you can like fail that whole sequence. That was pretty haunting. I will say I couldn't even like really get a good look because of the blur effects. That like Noelle was like, damn, this is freaking.
You mean
as
you're going into the lake as you're
going to the lake? Yeah, because people are saying the final sprite. Because, her face is getting more and more submerged, which is a very haunting image. But the final sprite, there's, like, light coming up from under her face or something. But it's hard to see through the, like, the blurring effect. Does that mean? They're going into the depths? Is that just a stylistic choice? We don't know. We don't fucking know.
It's obviously ambiguous. I mean, so in the weird route, you're fucking up Noelle. This will be my contractually obligated fuck you, Toby, for like, okay, guys, it was Kino. The like rose metaphor in chapter 4 when you like force Noelle to put the thorn ring back on, and then Toby goes back and changes it because people think that like the petals falling implies just fuck off, everybody.
Or whatever.
This is where the
I agree. It's like
it's
kind of
crazy. Calm down. Yeah,
it's just crazy that he shipped the game like that, then instantly felt like, oh fuck, I fucked up. I have to change that graphic to something totally different, which is funny.
I get it.
That is actually one of the reasons I played it on the Switch because I was like, it was after he patched it on PC. I was like, I want to see the original. Got to see it in game.
Yeah,
myself,
everyone. It's the Streisand effect. I went and looked it up because Toby actually changed like a meaningful thing.
Nobody.
That was cringe. That was not cool. Leave it alone. You fucked the division for no reason.
You know what this reminds me of? God. Hey, mandatory Final Fantasy VII mention for every fucking episode. It's like that goofy theory about like is Aris a fucking whore or like a fucking prostitute?
Oh, he's a flower girl.
The flower girl,
Yeah,
guys.
the
The flowers are
I'm like,
cheap.
Yeah.
I don't. Hey, no problem with that. But I also like. I think the intention of that is like 0%. Like I don't
It's
think
basically 0%. That's not her character at all. You could, if you want to look at it that way, that's your prerogative. You can do it. That's fine.
I think it's
but
fine.
I definitely
But yeah.
don't. I definitely don't.
And I feel the same vibe from like the flower thing with Noel. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
not what's happened. This is
I
not.
can't
Okay,
believe
the
Toby
scene itself-
really cucked to that. I really can't believe it.
I
That's
don't
nuts.
like that he felt that he like had to censor himself, or maybe like that's what I mean. That's what the quick
Yeah.
amount of changing. It wasn't like, oh, this actually was my true artistic intention the whole time. It felt like he was just doing it to like dodge controversy or something.
Maybe
Maybe
that's
I don't
definitely
want
what
to
happened,
second
yeah.
guess Toby too hard. I will say like I don't think that like it's like there's so much like weird like rapey imagery in that scene with like Chris like
Yeah,
grabbing
of
her and
course.
stuff. But
Yeah,
it's like
that's the
but it's like
point.
it's
Yep.
a metaphor. It's like if you actually
Yes,
thought
it's
like
a
oh that scene
metaphor.
ended with Chris raping
You're
Noelle,
putting
like,
a ring
you are an
on her
idiot.
finger, guys.
It's
If
a
anything,
Delta-
once
it's a-
again,
you're playing
heterophobic
Deltarune.
Heterophobic Toby is saying that traditional man-woman
he
marriage
hates marriage.
is evil and abusive and unacceptable. Damn
Toby
you,
Fox
Toby! You're
hates
killing
marriage.
my country.
It's so true. It's so
Um,
true.
how
I
could
feel
he
like
do this
Toby
to us?
changed it. First of all, he's
Yeah.
like fucking internet person. He's on.
He's
the
on
net.
Tumblr right now,
He's online.
scrolling.
He
Looking
is.
That is
He
funny
is.
to think. Yeah,
Also,
he
like,
sees the post about the
Enos.
game.
I do
Yeah.
also think just based on how Deltarune and Undertale is, he's very precious about this story. You know what I mean?
He is.
That's
Well,
why you
remember
don't
I
change
briefly
it when
mentioned earlier,
people
he doesn't even
cry.
sell merchandise of Lightners because he's
Yeah.
like, they're real.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
he's not saying that
that's
they're
not
real
canon.
people,
It's not
but
canon.
like,
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I feel like
Jesus
he's very
Christ.
precious about these characters, and he's like you could see it with like the corny ass dates and like the romance between Susie and fucking Noelle. It's like this is a thing he wants to do. This is like a thing he feel passionate about,
Yeah.
and like he likes these characters. So maybe like when he saw people like, is she getting fucking raped or something? And it was like, and that didn't
Obviously
complete-
not. If anything, Toby made it more suspicious by
this is.
changing it.
I
'cause
know
it's just
that was
a
all I was gonna say. Is
metaphor.
it's like just ignore those people, and I guess of course
know,
they're gonna
I
exist.
know.
But now it's like also the funny thing is it doesn't really. It's like the scene. It's fucking the same. It's just the one animation.
It's
at the
literally
end.
see that's what bothers me. It's everything happens exactly the same, just a small visual change of like she was deflowered. Just shut the fuck up, everyone. That's not. No one thought that's actually what happened.
It's
no
so
one thought that.
obviously represents like loss of innocence or loss
Yes,
of something like that. You know what I
obviously.
mean?
It's obvious. Come on.
I don't understand
come on.
why people have to be like. Anyways, the point is just that like it's. I do trust Toby, and it's like it's his goddamn game. He can do whatever he wants. I just feel like it sucks if he feels like I have to change this because people are too stupid to see what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
but
it's a shame.
it's funny.
It's a
Also,
shame.
it is funny. Go back to like chapter 1 or 2, and I remember seeing people post about like the Yuri like undertones between Susie and Noelle, and now it's just like that
they're
lake
there.
scene.
Oh, yeah.
I was like
100%,
Chris with my head on the
100%.
thing, where it's
Yep.
like, it is a full-on Yuri scene.
Very anime, no doubt about it. Yeah.
I want to say this. I want to give him a little bit of a pass. Okay.
Okay.
Because you're Toby Fox. Okay. You did the Undertale fucking Kickstarter in like 2012. You know what I mean?
Right.
And way later, I was like, Deltarune was like planned from the beginning. He always wanted to make this
It's
game.
such a crazy
specifically.
It was
yeah.
partially planned, but okay, all right.
No,
he's talked
I
about
don't-
this.
Nate, I
The
don't
dream,
mean
the
planned
dream.
in every
Do you
fucking-
know the
every
lore?
plot detail. I mean, like, in
No,
his head.
I agree.
Okay.
It wasn't that he
existed
planned
in
the
his mind,
30,
yeah.
40-hour game with all the scripts and all that. It's just the idea of like he's had
idea.
these character designs of the fun gang since I think
Sure,
before Undertale, and like,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's right.
I believe. Okay, like you know about this, don't you? His dream that he talked about, how like he had a dream that was so powerful, he like wrote down it as the ending to a game, and he spent. And Undertale was just a test run to like be able to
Yep,
get the
yep.
resources and stuff to
Literally,
do
yes.
it ready.
All I'm
Okay.
saying is like Deltarune is Toby's like maybe not like final project, the best project, or any nothing that dramatic, but I'm like it feels like this is the closest thing that like Toby's like I want to make this game. I want to make this piece of art
Right.
this specific
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, maybe like you can relate to this, but I feel like one of the funniest, biggest hurdles of like being a creator is worrying about being misinterpreted, and especially
Right,
for like
no, I
a
empathize,
piece of
I
thing
empathize,
you've
yeah.
been making for like at this point technically 8 years, and if we're going by like timelines, it's like close to 20 that you're thinking about doing it.
Toby, I understand why he's doing something very specific with the weird root, and he didn't want like this bunch of bullshit like discourse like derailing it or whatever. I totally get that or whatever.
It's
That's totally
very,
fine.
edgily charged. No doubt about that.
I will say,
yeah.
I'm curious as to how the weird route is going to play into this, because he talked about his dream or whatever, like, I had a dream and then I wanted to make a game with that ending. And people have tried to like reverse engineer, like, what could this dream be?
He dreamed about
he did not dream
Noel is what he dreamed about.
He did not dream of the 50 hours of dialogue that constitutes all the plot points of Deltarune. He probably had one dream of a really impactful moment. And people have been talking about this lately. I just watched a video, and people have had this idea for a long time. So this idea that I'm going to bring up is not technically new, but what's his name? Tipsy Phoenix just talked about this in a video, so I don't want to not give him credit, but just the idea that it's potential. One of the things he might have they're just trying to guess what could that moment have been? Something that could be very impactful. I feel like it could have been something shit where it's like, okay, because one of the biggest parts in the prophecy, okay, the angel. They banish the angels heaven and they'll meet their desire. Okay, remember, it's some weird one of those prophecy panels.
Yeah,
people are saying maybe the impactful moment was he's in his dream, he's having adventures with these fun characters, and then the characters themselves sort of realize that they're not real, and then they in order to become real, they have to force him out of the dream or whatever. So I do understand the idea that Undertale could end with because they briefly teased you with this chapter of Flowery telling Susie about the battle commands and the meta fictionality of it all, and then Susie's like, oh yeah, that doesn't bother me at all. I know we're in a video, or not. She shouldn't say I know we're in a game, but she's like, oh yeah, I know all about that. And then Ralsei's just what? But there's all these parallels. This is also ties back into the Gaster thing, where obviously people brought this up too about how the Dark Worlds are related to escapism and fiction or whatever,
yes,
and how
indeed,
fiction can still have meaning to you even if it's quote unquote not real. And the Lightners are one level up from the Dark Worlds. The Dark Worlds aren't real, quote unquote, to them. The way that Deltarune is quote unquote not real to us, and we're the soul one level up from that. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised. The final prophecy. A lot of people expect they're gonna have to permanently banish Castletown, or the girl will have to sacrifice herself. And then,
I thought of that.
All the darkness have to go away for the safety of the world. And then what does that mean? And again, the game could also
Castletown going
acknowledging
away,
the heart, acknowledging the soul and the player, and be you have to leave now for our sake or whatever. And whatever,
is just
however,
end of the game anyway. So yeah,
exactly right. It happens anyways, right?
It just works.
But whether they're aware of it or not, I'm just curious to see how the fuck is Deltarune going to end? You know what I mean? And this ties back into our
placing my stake. Yeah. My stake is this. Obviously, the idea of there will be an ending beyond the ending of Undertale. Obviously, but I think I'm gonna be so fucking simple about this. Don't forget the fucking song about just the final line of don't forget I'm with you in the dark. Who is the we? Presumably the we is us. Who are we with? Presumably the Heart and Chris. That's my assumption. It's even at the end of it all, it's you will help Chris eventually. Also, throughout the entire game, yeah, Chris is antagonistic to you, but in all the heroic moments in the Dark World, especially I think it was chapter 4, the fight against the Titan, he pulls out the heart and it's a shield to push forwards, literally.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I agree with what you're saying. I personally think that's going to manifest in the form of you have to get rid of the Dark World in the Castletown. It does need to go away. It's sort of a metaphor for growing up and moving beyond childhood things. I think this makes a lot of sense. But then as exactly as you said, don't forget it's going to be but those experiences were real, and so remember we're still with you. You can the flowers are there in real life. They're just not animated the way they are in the Dark World. So this will be how you can still live with them and you can take care of the flowers and you can remember Ralsei and everybody else. I kind of feel that's where this is eventually going, but
plus think about the ending, the literal actual moment before it cuts to credits in chapter 5, which is you take Susie quote unquote home to the Dark World, which is that has to, there's sort of, they are implying that that's not entirely healthy, I believe.
I definitely think that's part of it.
It's losing yourself in escapism or whatever. Also more Chris getting cucked about we have to bring Noel into this. The one thing Chris had with fucking Susie, they had that.
I'll say this personally speaking. If that's how it turns out, by the way, I think that's a reasonable interpretation. Just to preface this, I think that's fucking reasonable. I think that would be pretty fucking boring. I think that
I kind of agree.
I know it's going to be more weird than that. It has to have some weird meta-gaster bullshit. It can't just be they steal the fountains and then that's it. That's too obvious, and Toby wouldn't do that. Is all I'm saying. Toby would not hype this up for a decade and be this ending is just something people could have predicted from day one.
Hey, multiple chapter releases often disappoint when they finally come out. That's all.
True. And I don't want to be one of those guys who hates the game just because it's not with the fan fiction I made in my own head. Okay, I respect that too.
Just hear me out. I will never not make fun of it, because if it's hear me out. I will make this joke if it turns out to be about growing up and letting go or whatever the fuck. I will be hey dude, cool message. You did spend the last fucking 12 years of your life doing this. So like
that's why I have to have faith in Toby. Like he's working on levels we can't even fathom. He's like cooking some shit.
Maybe. Okay, and you know what? There is something to be said about it is about the journey, not the destination, to some degree. That is true. And we've had a lot of cool experiences, but it's kind of like One Piece. A lot of this is about, sure, the individual moments matter, but just like Luffy said to Rayleigh in Shabon Archipelago, like, okay, we're going on this adventure. It is more about just like the individual moments and adventures you have, but like that's all contingent on the fact that there is a big thing that matters at the end of the story. If that wasn't there, we wouldn't be doing any of this. And that is really important context. So I would like there to be something matters. And by the way, Undertale, when it came out, blew me away. It did everything right. Undertale was like the best cohesive
Undertale
story
understood how important a good
forever.
ending is. And I agree with you. That journey is important. It's not all about the ending, but like you really do need to nail the fucking ending, especially if you have 10 years of working on episodic releases to fucking think about it or whatever.
Right.
Like I'm trying to even imagine how bad would the ending of Deltarune have to be for it to like ruin it for me. And it's like I trust Toby too much, but it's like I'm curious. I'm just curious. Like this is gonna be it's going to be so weird once Deltarune is like done. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. I trust him. I trust him way more than to. This is a slight tangent. I trust him way more to not do the whole like it's about growing up thing. It's just because think of it this way: Undertale ended with both realities being true of like a full acknowledgement from Flowey specifically. I'm like, yeah, this is just a game to you. But also, you know, these are their lives. You know what I mean? So like he managed to like walk that fine line between like, oh, it's a game, but also, you know, it's, you know, real for the fiction of the universe it's in.
The characters feel real. We've had real experiences with them.
And they continue beyond you, according to Flowey. So, like, if Deltarune ends with, like, yeah, it's about letting go and moving on and all these things, I will just kind of, like, raise my eyebrow and make fun of him for the end of time. I will never forgive Anno for that fucking...
or Evangelion, the end of Evangelion, or the rebuild,
Whenever Anno wax philosophic about Evangelion, and he's like, yeah, so like, you know, like, you know, these characters like meant to be like anime characters, like, you know, so super sexualized because, you know, obviously the way the otaku looks at the anime, and I'm like, buddy.
Oh yeah, no,
buddy,
okay.
buddy, hear me out. I get closer to Mike. You drew them that way. You did do it that way. That was a decision you made.
Look, I was forced to goon to Asuka for plot-relevant reasons as I created her in real life. I had no choice. I was literally obligated to do so, so that I could put my mind in the mind of Shinji Ikari.
Nate, you know, Anno just knew that you were gooning, that he literally drew him gooning, and then turned around and was like... It really is like turning to the viewer. It's like, aren't you a gooner? As he drew Shinji jacking up for Oscar.
I know, right? But I always wonder if, like, is this part of your master plan, Anno, to have, like, Rei and Asuka on, like, Bic Razor advertisements, like, on the side of the road as you're taking the train or whatever? Was this part of your master plan to design the character? Oh, every time you look at them, every time everyone looks at them, they just see, like, the crazy philosophical implications of the character. No, that's not really what's going on moment to moment in the real world. That's marketing, buddy. That is capitalizing on a profitable IP and character design. Hey, real quick, I want to complain about one other thing. So at the end of the Weird Route, this is kind of Noelle's whole thing. It's just like, what does Noelle say when Chris shows up and is like, hey, let's like do crazy shit? Noelle's like, oh my God, guys, I'm literally too rich. My life is literally too like simple and normal. Oh my God, I need you, Chris. I need you to make me do different things because, oh my God, I have to study and go to school. My life is a nightmare. I have to do Snowgrave and kill my friends because my mundane life is too boring. The only thing I want to do is literally kill myself. Bro, is this seriously where we're at with, like, people who just, like, live a middle-class life? They have to kill themselves because they can't handle just having a home and family. Wow.
You're slightly glossing past the point that she lost her sister under circumstances so mysterious they mind broke the Giga Chad Asgore. So
we have to grow up, okay? Your sister.
Your sister went missing.
It's time
grow
to get
up,
over
bitch.
it.
Get over it.
Fine.
Noelle, it's time to stop being a baby and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, she's having a lot of first world problems right now. Look, in the third world, they lose a couple of siblings and they don't bat an eye. She loses one and has total ego death. Come on, let's man up, shall we? Let's suck it up. That's what I have to say about that. Guys, I think we may have arrived. We're at, like, time. We have to quickly decide whether or not Toby Fox is an internet genius. It's time to weigh in and pile the evidence, like we did with Yellow and Blue in the epic battles that we did with the Phoenix Wright references and stuff. All right, let's list
we didn't even talk about the damn eggs. Okay,
why don't you speed run the eggs?
I don't have anything to say. The eggs, they're mysterious, and I don't know anything about them.
Where are they going? Is something? Dude,
you think the Forgotten Man is Gaster? Because I don't think he is Gaster. Or if he is, he's like it's a fragment of him or some bullshit.
I mean, it could be. Like, the eggs there's something about them, right?
Here's my actual hokey theory. The sprite we use for Gaster is not going to be Gaster. It's going to be a different fucking guy. Like,
technically was never confirmed that's Gaster.
It was mysterious.
And for so long,
it was just mysterious.
Right? Some bullshit. Yeah, I've basically I just accepted that that's probably Gaster. And if it wasn't Gaster, at this point, fandom has made that Gaster to the point where if Toby tried to be like, actually, that's not Gaster, people would kill him. But I don't know.
He should at least reference it. I think
you're completely right, though, Noni. That is technically never proven to be Gaster.
He's very true. PNG to this day is like mysterious man or like something like that. That is all that is to it. And also, like, he looks like Papyrus and Skeleton vaguely. You know what I mean? It's like
wait. He uses the Gonerified version of Sans' door, and in the 10th anniversary stream, we deliberately saw Toby walk past the colored version of that door. Again, I know that's just a Toby tease, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, he tricked us again.
Man, I'm being real with you. My opinion about Toby Fox, is truly like in the perfect quantum zone of like, man, if this Gaster shit doesn't at least like land, I don't even need him to like fucking cook so hard. If it doesn't land,
I don't need a Gaster boss fight, but he's cooking up some weird meta shit, and I just hope it's as tasty as it smells like it could be, because I feel like he could make something pretty generational. Even just the stuff in Undertale I thought was cool, and I appreciate that. When I thought it was not an Easter, well, it kind of basically is just an Easter egg. Gaster is not that relevant to the plots of Undertale at all, but like he's just a cool thing you can like learn about afterwards. But like it's crazy to think that like, and then there's some people who are like, I feel like they're too Gaster obsessed, where they were like mad that Chapter 5 didn't have Gaster like take off his mask or whatever, which is like that's fine. Oh, here's the thing. Just briefly, I want to say Chapter 5 is like the last quote unquote normal chapter. He said this is the last like normal adventure. Let's go on one more fun adventure. It's the last Shadow Crystal. It's the last normal secret boss. I mean, sure, there's probably maybe will still be a secret boss. Of course, you can't have a video game.
Yeah, you gotta have a secret boss,
right? But like, I'm just so curious as what's Chapter 6 and then 7, because I used to be like, maybe the game would end in Chapter 6 and you can like only do Chapter 7 if you had a weird route save file. But then it's like, if he did that, he would have to release them at the same time because you couldn't release a game.
Also,
you can't start it.
Also, 6 would need to be so fucking long to even cover.
Yeah, 6 would have to. And he's already. It's not confirmed, because they didn't put in the credits, but they have said on like the Steam page that like they're hoping to have Chapter 6 out by 2027.
Okay, I was wondering about that. So hopefully 2027 is our general target. Okay,
hey, I was prepared for 2020 when it said that was actually one of the most hypest moments at the end of Deltarune Chapter 4 when it was like coming in 2026. Like, what? You mean I don't have to wait 3 or 4 years? It's actually coming in a reasonable amount of time, like an episodic gaming release schedule should be. So it would be awesome if he could stick to that. I'm not going to hold it against him too hard if he doesn't, but because he didn't put it in the credits. If he put it 2027 in the credits, and he was that's what I was going to say. It's like we got this in the middle of 2026. I was coping and preparing to get Undertale Chapter 5 on like December 31st, 2026. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're doing.
So we got it early as far as I'm concerned.
I just want to say about the Gaster stuff, we should not forget how very, very lore relevant he was in, for example, Chapter 2, like with Spamton. He was all over the place with all the spam. Yep. He like is the guy as far as we.
Right.
So, like,
well, now there's some abstraction where it's like, okay, was it friend talking to them on the phone? But if that is the case, friend is like an agent of Gaster or something. I mean, we didn't even talk about fucking Onion Sand getting
it's some
cut
sort of
up and sold
interdimensional
at the
entity.
fair.
We know of literally one of those, which is Gaster. So like, it just seems like by far the most likely thing. So I'm expecting some Gaster shit. I will be disappointed, and I will shit on Toby if there is not some deliverance of the Gaster shit.
There will be, whether it's on. It might be Weird Route exclusive. It might be some other weirder route exclusive shit with the Twisted Sword. But like, it will be in there. I would bet any amount of money that like again, I don't think we're gonna see a Gaster fight. We might not even see him. We're definitely gonna at least read like journal entries or some shit by him at the least. But I mean, hopefully, or talk to a friend who's a Gaster friend, a friend of Gaster or something. Whatever. But like it's relevant. Like Gaster deniers are coping and seething at this point.
True.
I mean, he talks to you at the end of the credits of Chapter 4. He just talks to you.
there has to be a payoff. There has to be a payoff for Deltarune literally beginning with you yapping with the dudes. Like, there has
he says,
to
"Are we connected?" And then all this stuff with the
I am
Goner Maker.
waiting
People
for
are
the
going to see
boss
the
fight.
Goner again, the
boss
grayscale
fight
vessel.
against the body that we construct at the very beginning. It's coming. I'm going to fight
Toby
it.
loves this gag where, you build the Thrash machine in Chapter 1 and you see it again in Chapter 2, and I think they bring it back again for future
The technology
gags
is there.
The idea
it's in the code.
the only problem with this gag is going to be people are going to, like, see that their Goner that they made in, like, 2018 and not even remember that that's what they made, you know what I mean?
But
whatever.
Okay, wait. That brings me to the final thing I actually want to talk about Deltarune, which is that, okay, as I'm playing through, I mentioned this before, I like did not play through everything. I want to play through the weird route like all the way. There's some stuff I only got up to the end of chapter 2 with the weird route before I switched over and haven't done it since.
That's where all the epic gameplay differences are.
Yeah, that was the good shit, and then it stopped for a while. But like,
I love the weird route,
really
even though
struggle to summon the will to do that with the game not yet complete, because it's going to be like a year or two, and I'm gonna forget shit, and I'm gonna want to play it again then. So this is where we actually have some issue. Like, it's not all genius shit that this is a chapter release with sometimes multiple years between chapters.
Episodic releasing
it's not all good.
It has pros and it has cons. In my mind, the cons are pretty fucking major, but like I said, the pros are there. The pros are like you can't just data mine all the mysteries out instantly and this and that. And plus, okay, literally, okay, how about this? Just go play Deltarune Chapter 1 and then play Chapter 5, and like Chapter 1 is so Toby core, and that he had people helping him with Chapter 1, but like the team he has working on the game now is crazy good. Like, he would not have been able to do that, like, side-scrolling shit by himself.
Yes,
I think he sort of needed to do it episodically in order to, like, build that team. Like, he couldn't have just made Deltarune start to finish by himself again. He didn't even make Undertale by himself. He had help from Temmie and other people and that. But he's basically the one-man workhorse. It's his vision. It is an auteur-driven game.
Indeed, and I respect that greatly.
It's practicality, right? Yeah, it's not. Maybe if Toby could have put it all released all at once, he would have. But like, yeah.
It just honestly, here's my actual biggest factual like this is a criticism that I think it's hopefully is worth an amount of objective merit to it. The writing style. The writing style of like you mentioned, Cyber. You mentioned it's a pro. Like, people can't find the mysteries. I might flip that to a con, because it's. Now Toby Fox has to sit down and decide how much do I want to say in this chapter? Like, if I say too much, it means that the payoff in the next chapter won't be there. And if I say too little, it will be too much of a cliffhanger for the next one.
Good point.
And that
very
becomes
tricky finding that
literal narrative decision of we could have had this cool moment or this cool build-up, or example, again, just me and Flowey in after the snow town, and she just yaps, it's you think you can actually fucking save them, you stupid fucking bitch? Do you think I don't know you're doing all of this? And I'm well, if this was an episodic game, would that moment exist, or would Toby have to have pushed it to a future chapter, because we won't see Flowey for 3 fucking hours?
Yeah, it really makes a difference in the story that is being told, the fact that it is structured in this way. And look, at a certain point, it simply is what it is.
Yep.
Sitting around and bitching about this, you could, and I love doing that, don't get me wrong, but you do need to accept that, these are the limitations of the story. If you don't like it, you don't gotta play it, obviously. But I do love bitching to Toby about the fuck-ups and the mistakes.
You guys were both
made.
sort of insinuating this earlier, and I just want to agree with the point that it's Undertale is kind of perfect because it's the complete package. It's everything. You know what I mean?
That means everything to me.
I've seen memes about imagine the Sans speculation if after the Snowden chapter drop. Imagine what Undertale would have been like if it released episodically, and it would have been horrible. That would not have worked for Undertale. It can work. It is working for Deltarune because it's being built around that kind of stuff. But I do agree with you. Toby will do things to subvert our expectations. I don't think that many people are expecting. If you said we're gonna fight the Roaring Knight at the end of chapter 3, people have been like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But it's they're different beasts. And again, I still, this is sort of what I was trying to say earlier, Deltarune, as we experience it, is just going to be a different kind of experience than the people who get to play it start to finish when it's done.
The update to chapter 1 that's going to happen when the full release happens. That is just a thing. It's actually going to be just literally different.
Dude, it's going to be arm retrieval. It's going to be Chris's arm is everywhere, baby. You got to play through it all.
That was in the Homestuck pilot, by the way. I meant to mention that and then I forgot, which is that they showed that, which is are you even kidding, bro? Do we need to have even 1 second of screen time dedicated to this shit?
I know, right?
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Well, so to this question, I would say if we're addressing is Toby an internet genius, I'm going to say we will determine that after Chapter 7 drops. We will come back
I'm
to this
placing
question
all my
and find
chips
out.
on yes. I'm
Okay,
placing
all
my
right.
chips on yes.
There's heavy
It's a bet,
speculation.
and I admit that I have faith in Toby. I'm curious. I mean, this will be either age great or age poorly if you're watching this in 2038, whenever the fucking last chapter drops. But
Look, I will say,
hopefully that part ages poorly and it drops before the end of 2028 at least. But
sure
we'll
hope
see.
It's gonna be 2030. I'm so sorry.
No matter how many tables with much more veteran game developers you sit at, Toby, you have made one finished game. Okay, it's a great game. Everybody loves it. When you finish 2 games, okay, so you're in the pot. You had our attention. Now you have our interest. Okay, but will you in fact make it all the way to the hallowed halls of being an internet genius? Stick the landing, buddy, and we will convene and determine that at a later date. So there you go. There's our conclusion.
I don't want. I want it to sound like I'm complaining about like my steak is too juicy, my lobster is too buttery. You know, because I do fucking love Deltarune. I think it's like one of it's even as it exists, it's like one of the best fucking games that I've like.
Dude, it's
played.
one of the few games I sit around actively looking forward to. There's
I
few
think
of
about
those
it
left.
when I'm not playing it, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter.
Same. It's fucking great. It's fucking awesome. It's just
Toby just gets it, man. He gets it.
it's just part of my brain can't help but to look at the whole package and be like, man, there is these weird roots and all this weird lore and like these secret like fucking bosses, like you mentioned, Cyber, so like secret bosses for like the alternate threat, and I'm like, man, this game is like fucking 40 hours. If I want to am I like, here's the thing. There was the expectation of like, if you got the genocide route in Undertale, it's like, you're a fucking psycho, quote unquote, you're a psycho, you killed the things, you did the Sans fight, it took like 2-3 hours, it is what it is, you know, you committed to the bit, that was the expectation. And I'm like, am I gonna blame people for Deltarune if they were like, dude, I just wanted to do the alternate boss fight, so I got a save file with like the boss fight I just wanted to try out because I didn't want to play the last fucking 20 hours again.
That's a great point. It actually sort of cheapens the experience because it's too long for people to I've already experienced that. The fact that I don't want to play through it all right now. If the story was done, that would be one thing, but it's not done. So right now in this existence, this fucking branch of reality where the story is not yet complete, that's a real limit to, and I'm like, I don't really want to spend the time on that. Right? I'll do it when the story's done. That's when I'll go.
Yeah,
and
I don't
like
really. I would
20
not
hours.
judge someone too harshly for just like looking up weird root content.
That's what I've been doing, man. I've been on the wiki.
I think a lot of people experience it that way. I played it, and I'm not. I feel like, especially, you're right. It's different when the game's done. When the game's done, I would tell people you should probably just play the weird route, even though it's a whole nother playthrough. It's different the way that like if you just watch someone fight Sans. You didn't fucking do the genocide route, man. You have to do that fight.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And for the record, like I would like to play through the weird, and I plan to, but it's just given the current
it's a time commitment, dude. It's 5 motherfucking chapters. I get it, dude. Even though the last chapter is like shorter.
You can do it pretty quick, but we're still talking like a minimum 5 hours, probably
hours.
more like 10 to get through it all. Yeah, like 2 hours each, probably.
That was the funny thing about the genocide route. You're right. It's very short. Like even with the fact that he just like he makes you grind, or it doesn't take that long. The length of the genocide route is basically how long are you stuck on the bosses. You know what I mean? Because like if you first try them, you can get through that shit.
And also, there is literally 2 bosses. Also, there is like literally
2 bosses.
So like there is.
Okay, that's another crazy thing. We finally learned this chapter. They told us shadow crystals are like the remnants of shattered or broken off dreams or whatever. And it's so funny because like there's things about the secret bosses
that are shards of the knight's sword. I thought that was said somewhere.
Yeah, that's the black shard. That's the Asgore had one of those, and it's like the weapon you can equip as Chris. So the broken off dreams is interesting because we get to fight a version of Spamton Neo because we never got to do the Neo fight on the genocide route. We got to do a Gerson fight. We never got to do the Gerson fight in Undertale. So I don't think they're literally meant to be like, oh, these are like the things you couldn't do in Undertale, but now
it's a spiritual fulfillment of that.
Exactly, it's a spiritual fulfillment. Yeah, it's not as literal, but it's just interesting to think about.
So So listen, I feel like that is a good conclusion. We've got a lot of good things to say about it, tons of speculation.
I could yap about this fucking game forever. So we were going to have to just cut it off at some point.
If we were still doing 4-hour episodes, we could easily fill up 4 hours. I would love to talk more about like Pink and how much I loved the theme and like how Pink is obviously possessed by the ghost that lives next door to the flower shop, and that's what's going on with Pink.
Oh wait, I have one more. I have one thing to pitch out. One thing to pitch out.
All right.
One thing.
Go on.
Why did I be a good person and give away Tenna to the fucking stupid Metaton character stand-in that we don't even get to see? All that did was deprive me, who matters, of getting to see cool Tenna scenes in my castle town. Why did you do that to me, Toby? I tried to be a good person, and I got cucked out of funny Tenna scenes.
Doing the thing in the game that, like, is obviously the right thing to do, like, gives me less content.
Right.
Dissonance.
I had to watch those Tenna scenes on YouTube like a fucking fake gamer.
Ludonarrative dissonance or something like that is happening here, or whatever. When I started my evil route again here, but I did it from like a fresh shape because I didn't have my evil one prepared. I was astounded and like, oh my god, Tenna is in the castle town. Tenna is still here. I was like, hooray, I get to see the lore and see what Tenna's to say. And then I went immediately, because I was just exploring the town again, and talked to, the Spamton house or whatever, and they were like, oh yeah, take Tenna. And so then I lost Tenna again. I was like, well, fuck, man. So you just instantly lose Tenna if you do follow the extremely obvious route you're supposed to follow with the character. And like, man,
why does Tenna even need to be adopted by someone else? Because I get it. Because Tenna is a TV and he wants to be watched. He wants, as a TV, he wants to be watched. Why isn't he happy just hanging out in Castle? Does Queen, the laptop, not want to be used? King, the card, does actually want to be used, but he can't. He has a lore drop this chapter where he talks about how he's a ripped ace of spades, or king of spades, sorry, obviously. Yes, and then, but because he's ripped, if the card is ripped, then everyone knows what card it is. The whole deck is useless or whatever, so he presents humans for being pushed in the thing. That was great. That was cool. I just bitching about the Tenna thing. I'm sorry, I had to get that off my chest.
You're absolutely right.
I have one last note, and we really should fucking wrap it up, but I have one note.
Okay, go on.
For the one guy who's watched every Internet Genius episode. We gotta get an update from Cybershell.
We love our one guys. Yeah.
Thank you, one guys. We gotta get an update from you, Cybershell. Last episode, we obviously were all like, hey, next episode, fucking Deltarune. We're doing it, baby. It's coming out tomorrow.
Deltarune
How was the Star Fox game, by the way?
Well, I did not play it. I have not played it. No, I do not have any thoughts about it. Okay, I was having a meltdown about those that voice acting shit. But the game itself seems fine. The thing is, I'm just so burnt out on remakes or whatever. It's a remake of a good game. They know it's a good game because they remade it 100 times.
Right.
But I will play it eventually, probably, I guess, just because I guess I want this game to do well so they can make Star Fox 64 2 finally after all these years.
They'll never do it. They don't have the will. They don't have the interest. I don't know, man.
They forgot how. They forgot how to make new games. They only know how to do remakes. The
industry's forgotten how to make a new game. At least Toby Fox is making a new fucking bit to his game. He's not just Although it is kind of a remake of Undertale.
It's a remix of Undertale.
Oh my god.
Toby, you're canceled. You're canceled. It's like the world's least faithful remake of Undertale. It's completely changes everything in the world.
Fucking Final Fantasy
VII. Oh my god. Fucking
totally
chapter 1 is literally
it practically is the Final Fantasy VII remake of Undertale. It's so different. It's so much longer.
Oh, God. All right, guys. Hey, listen. We have one last thing for the episode. All right, everybody. We're checking in on the Internet Genius submission bullshit. Send your content to internetgenius@gmail.com. Send us fan art of the dark fountain being opened here in the studio, and our Evangelion obelisks appearing around the Sealy table, and Henna the Genius coming to life, and all our trophies doing crazy shit. Do that. That'd be cool. We'll show it on the show. But we have one submission today. Guys, once again, our boy Yorp has sent a follow-up video to follow up his triumphant, being the first person to make something that we show on the show. He did it. He said it felt like crack. He loved it deeply. So I'm talking in the Discord about the Internet Genius submission stuff. People are working on stuff. Let me just clarify for the record, people. We are getting texts, emails and stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, I have updated my policies. Fuck text. Send at least audio or a video.
Right. A voicemail or something. Nobody wants to
think of it like a voicemail or a video submission. Blah, blah,
videos
blah.
Are better, but
do that, and so send it that way. And if you can give me a YouTube link, that's even better. Then I don't need to do any work at all. And yes, you can put an MP3 on YouTube, just make a Burner's channel or something. I'm just saying, do that. So we're gonna take a look at Yorp's new submission. Let's take a look right now. And I was like, smell this loot. Does this smell good to you? Is this still good?
Bafflingly, that is what you did.
These Mika's role-playing his ponies. This is the Noni experience.
It's called clopping, okay? It's a natural thing.
It is clopping. Clopping is natural, everybody. I think this is Noni versus your good friend Nate Pestman. Oh, there he is.
That is the average editor physique. That's true.
That is the average editor physique. Oh. All right, shut the hell up, Nate.
Thank you.
This is the spiritual revival of the Nate
spiritual
fuckers.
revival of what? Of what?
The Nate fuckers. They're coming back to troll you every episode.
The Nate fuckers, the Nate murderers, the Nate rapists. They're all forming a trio of enemies that they need stuff. So there you go, Yorp. You made something funny, so once again it got shown in the show. See, people, it's as simple as that. Make something that's funny and entertaining.
How fucking bad were the submissions if nothing was even up to that standard?
To be fair to them, they were not given a lot of clear direction, but now we have examples.
Right.
So
now you know what you have to be doing.
It's going to be evolving
Make something
over
fucking
time,
funny, you dumb idiots. God damn it.
Make free content for me, guys. Hey, fan art of the show.
You get paid in exposure, kid.
That literally is it. Look, there's people out there that do art. They like commissions. Hey, we'll shout out your Ko-Fi. We'll shout out your Patreon if you make something cool. This is a give and a take here, people. We're looking for content. We will shill you on the show. So there you go. If it's good.
Even if you hate the show, you make something so good and so cool that when we shout out your Patreon, all the donors to the Internet Genius Patreon cancel their pledge and donate to you. So it's like, even if you're a hater, even if you're a lover, be submitting content and make it fucking good,
and by the way, you may have noticed that this Noni, go back in time. This is the case. We have advanced technology now where magically Nate's chair can slide out of the way when we're playing the videos at this part, so you can actually see things on the screen. Wow, can you believe that happened retroactively?
It's our fault. It's a real studio with a real camera angle that has to be taken into consideration here.
Noni, please make the entire screen a 3D generated room based on the PNG assets, and just be able to rotate
all the water
please.
supply of the planet, please.
Yes. Grok, please whip that up for me real quick. Thank you, Grok. All right, everybody. That's the Internet Genius submission. Send us cool stuff if you want to, or not. That's fine either way. But we love to see it when it's cool. So that's it, everybody. We settled the question. One day, Tony may perhaps be a genius. He's a scrappy little guy. He's working real hard to prove himself to us.
He made one game. He made one game.
He made one game. Once it's 2 games, okay, then we can have a conversation. Then you're he's like a dabbler right now. Once you make 2 games, okay, maybe then you're a professional game developer. Maybe. Up to that point, it's questionable at best.
I guess he made games. He made a ROM hack of Earthbound. Then he made Deltarune. It's practically just a ROM hack of Undertale.
That's all the Deltarune is. It's true. All right, everybody. Thanks.
Hey, if we really think about it, Undertale is just a ROM hack of Homestuck.
And that's also very true. So he's made exactly 0 games at this point.
Dude, can you even imagine how much... This is not a death threat, by the way, but can you even imagine how much you would have changed history if you just went back in time and shot Andrew Hussey in the head?
God, I dream of doing that every day. Like my pillow.
Tumblr wouldn't exist the way it does if Andrew Hussey
It would be a different world, dude. It would be insane. Like, you can't even... The butterfly effect would be beyond what you can imagine. Even the things you were thinking about, like, I'm not even... Beyond Undertale, it would just be like... it would either be world peace or it would come back and it would be global nuclear winter. We would be living in a cyber's world. Which exactly. Every day. All right, there you go. There's your epic reference, everybody. Goodbye. We'll see you next week. Hey, patreon.com/internetgenius. We have bonus episodes. We have one about... What was the last one, Noni? What was the last episode? Bonus episode about?
Mina the Hollower.
Oh, Mina the Hollower. Of course, Mina the Hollower. We talk about it forever. Lots of crazy epic memes about that. And we have an extra special one that we're cooking up. It'll be out... a little bit after this episode. We're going to film it like the day before this comes out, I think. So be excited. Could there be a best game ever being discussed? It might be the case. Possibly a little mixtape related game. Could it be a musical game that everyone loves, everyone's deeply fond of? Yes, find out soon, folks. Give us $5 on Patreon every month, and you get to hear all of our wonderful things, and you get cool colors on yourself in the Discord and stuff. So the money just keeps on stacking, and you'll be in these credits that are coming right now momentarily on the episode. Thank you for being everybody. Cyber, thank you for being here. Guys, you know him. Go watch all his stuff on his channel. He's epic. Everyone loves Cyber. Cyber, any comments to end us
Happy
off
to be here. Looking forward to being on in a few years when we can really look back on this. Like, we were all such idiots for thinking that's how Deltarune was going to play out. We should just kill ourselves. We're so stupid.
We should drown ourselves now.
Yeah, we should drown ourselves now.
We should walk into the... Oh, and Noel...
Do something crazy.
Epic stuff, man. Looking forward to seeing what lies there the other side. Oh my God, if I have to live one more day going to school and doing my chores, I'll literally drown myself in the lake. Goodbye, everybody. See you next time on Internet Genius. Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Goodbye. I'm killing myself right now.
Work sucks. Food's cold. No sleep. Getting old. Maybe it's time to figure it out. Think it up what life's about. I need internet genius, bringing all the best ideas. Certified right boys all the time. If you want the correct opinion,